on us. The throne inside us.
Coronavirus, you can't kill us with the echinacea. Besides, we everywhere, like the tech in Asia. Sent a tech to Asia for a second laser. You heard the butcher coming, nigga. You ready for the second savior? I let the heckler decorate ya. I just get your face up. That's just my second nature. Little niggas said they into sports. I said what kind? He said Olympic sports. That winter sports. Snowfall, you know he into sorts. That winter fresh, that winter snorts. Egyptian cross, that winter frost. Said it turned temperatures on his temper off. Venture's cloth, only go where no man go. Venture forth, into resorts. It's off-white, winter soft. When you talk about boosting, you better mention sport. That's my son, Jimmy Henchman thoughts. Sipping Henny for many henchmen lost. Ripping simmies with nose jobs many inches off. You a goofy coon. Only time you seen us with the Looney Tunes. We was making history in icebergs with the Goonie Goon.
My love, did you ever dream of what time to close these streets up?
To this day.
I'm with you, so I won't complain. I popped the red pill and witnessed the unpleasant truth. This young wretched youth with his gun vested crew grew to be the one who usually speaks for you and me. The rest, well, you can see. If you ask me if black love exists, I just came from having dinner with black bloods and crips, daps, hugs, and fists to the sky with a promise to honor our own. I swear, trying. Ex-crack dealers fighting for black liberation. Think we're scared of the cops? You're sadly mistaken. Crafty and patient, and fuck your N95 mask. I be masked up like Jason with a machete to start slashing the faces of fascists and racists and far left rapists. It's going how we planned it. The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. There's a miracle in every minute that you're handed, and I don't take a split second for granted. See me at my altar, lighting up my candles. Offers to Elegua, you know what I need handles. Spirits that I ran with, devils that I ran through. Let these characters know I'm dropping like anvils. Splat, run it by me. The road runners wanna know if them 5Gs on your Gucci shoes make you little fools run at high speed. I don't think you wanna try me. Shango, Ritual 1 is on the way. Red, get him.
Crown is on us.
The
throne inside us.
Dream of what time to close these streets.
Crown is on us.
I'm with
The throne
you,
inside us.
so for real, so for real. My love, man. Did you ever dream of time to close these streets up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is entitled Candy Rain. All right. Candy Rain featuring Rain 910. And that is off the album The Red Summer. All right. For anybody that wants to get the link is right there on the ticker. Go to the Red Summer merch and order your hard copy. Go and get your hard copy. You know what I'm talking about? Go get your hard copy for the Red Summer. Put that in the whip, drop top, you know what I mean? And drive through your hood and wake up the knuckle draggers. Put them on to something new. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, put them on to something new. Go ahead and get that physical copy. All right. RedSummerMerch.com. Welcome everybody to another episode of Third Eye Thursday. This is your host, Brother Red Pill. We are in the building early tonight, and that is for a reason. I'm going to be opening up the lines. I want to have conversations. I want to talk to the people. So I figured why not do it at a better time? I don't want to do it at midnight and whatnot. People are not usually in the right kind of, setting and whatnot to whereas they could go live. So I was like, let me be responsible and tap in at a responsible hour. You dig? So you said the cars don't take CDs anymore. That's true. That's true. If you only have a Bluetooth, then play it on all of your streaming networks. It's on Apple Music. It's on Tidal. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube Music. It sounds better on a CD though, you know, the acoustics and whatnot. But like I said, I'm a member of the resale community. I'm a member of the nostalgia community. I'm a member of the collector community. I know the power of collecting things because I know that art appreciates in time, and so do other pieces of, you know, assets and whatnot, mostly creative intellectual property. So I'm betting on everybody, not everybody, but I'm betting on people in my community, and I support them. I buy their stuff. I put it up. I got a whole box full of shit that I never even really touched. It's this stuff that I've been collecting: books, CDs. I got some DVDs that's still in the plastic and whatnot. You feel me? I got some people's original artwork. So yeah, that's what it is. We're gonna do the roll call. We're gonna do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Let's get the family locked in. You know what I mean? Let's put it on a record where everybody is from. Let's get that out of the way. And then I'm gonna drop a link in the chat box. I'm gonna drop my link in the chat box, and it will allow up to 10 of y'all to pop up and to come through. And this is my disclaimer, you know, we won't tolerate any type of trolling. I don't think I have to say that, but you know, I'm gonna just put it out there. You know, if you want to joke, I'm gonna joke back. You know, I'm talking about. You know, I could match your sense of humor, but we want to keep it real serious. You know, we don't have to be ultra serious. We could make fun. We could have jokes. I don't take myself too serious. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, we could do what it do, but make it entertaining. All right. So Michigan is in the building. KT Aliens and Fiji via Australia. Yeah, that's that global connect. New Orleans in the H Town, 707 North Cal. All right, Norfolk. It's like 3 o'clock in California or shit like that. Like like 4 o'clock. Ottawa, DC, Kansas, Oakland. You know, I find myself watching YouTube in the daytime. I never really used to do that, but I be catching the lives and everything. So, you know, shout out to the daytime YouTubers. Hempstead, Silver Spring, Maryland, Kansas City, Brick City, North Oakland, 7 Mile, Detroit, yeah, California, Santa Rosa, Minnesota. Athens is up in the stang. Athens is up on our stang. Hold on a minute. Go to the Kingdom. Yeah, if I go to the Kingdom, to the Instagram and the Kingdom. Yeah. Hempstead, Long Island. Silver Spring, Maryland. Shout out to Silver Spring, Maryland. Chicago, North Side. All right. Santa Rosa in the building. Baltimore, DMV, Roxbury, Boston, 815. Illinois. You know, I'm talking about Greensboro. All right. South Side, Chicago, Jacktown, Marietta, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Brick City. Woo, we deep in the building tonight. Okay. Greensboro, Dayton, Ohio, H-Town holding it down, Shot-Town. All right. Santa Rosa, Greensboro. Yeah. Welcome to Buffalo, Rough Buff, Bed-Stuy, Winston-Salem. Welcome to Third Eye Thursdays. I appreciate every single one of y'all in the building. One of the great things about opening up the line is we'll get to see what's going on in your hood, right? We're gonna see what's going on in your hoods, in your you know, wherever you live. I don't know. Everybody ain't in the hood, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me post this little video. Everybody ain't in the hood, as we can tell through the roll call. Everybody is in where they're in their provinces, wherever they live. But I wanted to have this conversation last weekend with Blue Pill, but we talked about some other things and we didn't directly dive into the topic that I wanted to talk about. And that topic, my friends, is the youth violence, right? And I know that you've heard me talk about it before. I've addressed, you know, the gang wars, drill culture, aesthetic nihilism. We even have words for it. We have definitions for it. We've done a lot of deep diving on those topics before. As I do more research for this lecture that I got coming up, you know, I'm running into a lot of information that's really highlighting that shit is out of control, right? Dakar, Senegal, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Kentucky, Massachusetts, San Francisco. So when I'm in lecture mode, like when I'm studying and whatnot for a lecture, Bahamas, because a lot of the lectures are organic. And what do you mean by organic? What I mean by organic is that, you know, when I put the title of the lecture out there, I feel like, and this is not ego talking, I'm just going to put it out there because, you know, this is an observation. You know what I mean? Like the great divine speaks through signs. That's a word that I've said. That's a phrase that I've coined over the years and whatnot. And what I mean by that is that, you know, I'm very symbol literate. And what I mean by symbol literate is that, you know, I pay attention to the signs of the times. I pay attention to the symbols. I pay attention to, you know, I'm very symbol literate. So when I put something out there like a title, Fear of BlackaMoor Messiah, right? This is the title for my upcoming lecture at the end of the month. There's somebody in the chat asking about the rise of the Moors. Tap into last week's broadcast, both Melanin Monday and Third Eye Thursday, and you'll hear our conversation about that, right? And in the background, you see Lovecraft Country, American Gods, and whatnot is faded in. This is the cover that I made before the Haitian president was assassinated. I made this the night before he was assassinated. I woke up in the morning and the Haitian president was assassinated. And then a lot of other things started taking place, like revolts in Cuba and whatnot, South Africa, the riots and whatnot. And then Haiti, you know, was thrust into the spotlight, right? And, you know, Fear of a BlackaMoor Messiah. The subtitle is The Critical Race from Theory to Fact, right? And it's like the minute that I put this flyer out and the title out, then the universe start working with me. And like I said, the great divine speaks through signs, right? The great divine speaks through signs. So what was being spoken? Well, what was being spoken was, you know, what was being spoken was the universe was basically having a conversation and they throwing information back at me, right? Information is coming back at me. You know, when I'm doing my research and when I'm deep diving, pardon me, because I'm reading the article as I talk to you. As I'm doing my research and I'm deep diving, it's like digging for oil and then you start striking oil and whatnot. So as I'm digging, right, I'm starting to hit oil and whatnot. As you can see in the flyer, I'm highlighting Lovecraft Country, American Gods. They're in the background. It's kind of faded out because the narrative that I want to share is the fact that the fear of a BlackaMoor Messiah is playing out even in Hollywood. Bro, what do you mean by that, Red? What I mean is when you pay attention to Hollywood, shit, shows like Lovecraft Country and American Gods and Watchmen and Lightning, right? These shows are being canceled and they're not being renewed, right? They're not being renewed. Why is that? The narrative that these shows are establishing seem to be too pro-black. You understand what I'm saying? It's too pro-black. It's too much going on to where these studios are like, no, I'm not going to be committed to helping you niggas tell your own stories. we're not bankrolling we're not going to stand behind the storylines and the narratives where we're giving y'all too much power. Like if they started the season of Lovecraft Country, if they started season 2, then they would have to open up the season from a place where melanated people were in power, right? If they decided that they wanted to do American Gods, the new season, the season 4, then they would have to do a season where the main character is a melanated main character. His name is Shadow Moon. they would have had to approach a storyline where this man is going to be coming. He's walking into his godhood. He's walking into his power. The fourth season was supposed to solve all 3 seasons that were building up for that season. And if anybody read the book, then you would realize that there's some revelations and things like that that are taking place where there's gonna, there's a shift in power, right? I could even show you right here, in the notes to the lecture, right? Let me show you. These are some of the shows that have been pulled, right? And it's of no coincidence that these shows were highlighting and putting on a pedestal the image of the melanated man and woman. Watchmen, right? This is the series called Watchmen. They decided to cancel that and not go into a second series. Why? Because if they were to start the second series, okay, if they were to start the second series, they would have to start the second series and show this woman right here, Angela Abar is her name, but at the season finale of season 1, she became the most powerful deity or character in the DC universe. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? She, a black woman, Regina King, whose character, her name was Angela Abar, and she was already militant. Okay, she was already militant in season 1. She was militant. She came from the offspring of a survivor of quote unquote Black Wall Street. The first episode opened up with a reenactment of the destruction of Black Wall Street. She was a direct descendant of that, right? And her parents were also in Vietnam. Now, if anybody is not familiar with the DC comic universe, one of the most powerful, I'm talking about way beyond Superman's power, is a character by the name of Dr. Manhattan. If you don't believe me, go and look it up, right? In season 1 finale, spoiler alert, she becomes Dr. Manhattan. So if they were to start season 2, if HBO was to put millions of dollars because they were saying that Watchmen was basically their replacement for the slot that the Game of Thrones was holding, right? So the European, right? This was season 1 right here. Dr. Manhattan was a black man in season 1. He was a melanated man, her husband named Calvin, but there was an agreement and whatnot, and he didn't even know that he was who he was, right? A perfect analogy about who we are in our quote unquote existence right now. We don't know who the hell we are. We don't know where we come from. We don't know our inherent powers. We don't even know our inherited powers. We don't even know our true inalienable rights, my niggas. So the same creator of Lost, whoever, this European and whatnot, he was like, I'm not writing a second season. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it to myself. He had every reason to write it because, as you can see, this was a heavily nominated for Emmys. The show was critically acclaimed. It wasn't no bust. They were getting their numbers and whatnot, where her name, Regina King, her character's name was Angela Abar, but also Sister Night. Sister Night was very militant. And the creator of the show opted out of season 2, right? The creator of HBO, and this is HBO behind Watchmen, right? They canceled it. HBO was the one that canceled it. And HBO canceled Lovecraft Country for season 2. And if anybody remembers how season 1 ended, the black people, the melanated, the main character died, right? Which is the one who popped up on the season finale of Loki as Kang of the universe, right? But they decided to keep that out. So this is what the sister who's the writer wrote about Lovecraft Country. Right? Give me 1 minute. I just got to check on my phone to make sure that the broadcast is coming in clearly. As I'm speaking, I need to make sure that y'all can see the screen. So give me 1 minute. Okay, y'all can see the screen. So This is what they wrote. A very, very different America was going to be unveiled in season 2 of Lovecraft Country. Creator Misha Green revealed today after HBO officially pulled the plug on the acclaimed horror drama. The creator Misha Green is melanated. That is a black sister, beautiful sister, by the way. She's on Instagram, but she is a genius in her writing skills. A couple of hours after Deadline exclusively reported on the surprising demise of the Jernay Smollett, Jonathan Majors, and Michael Kenneth Williams starring series, showrunner Green took to social media to paint a picture of what it might have been. It was certainly something to see, especially leading to the July 4th weekend. So this is what she wrote. A taste of the season 2 Bible. Wish we could have brought you Lovecraft Country Supremacy. Thank you to everyone who watched and engaged. The next generation. Season 2 of Lovecraft Country begins in a new world, and that new world is a country that sits precisely where the United States used to sit. Welcome to the sovereign states of America. They was like, hell no, sister. We're not bankrolling that. They was like, you're not getting off. You're not gonna shoot your load on our budget, sis. We're not gonna allow you to be the one responsible for introducing nigglets and niggas to a reality. Remember, all is mental. A lot of this shit niggas talk about predictive programming with the Simpsons out here doing and whatnot. Predictive program is real. Neurocinematics is real. The movie Inception pointed out that you plant ideas and concepts in the deepest caverns of the minds of the collective and watch that shit come to life in this holographic reality. We're in a simulation, right? So the idea and how you tweak it, the cheat code to how you get to the people and how you change reality and how you tweak reality and how you bring ideas into fruition is what you have to break through the mold of Hollywood. You have to break through the mold of cinematics. You know, Hollywood and all of this shit, niggas. Yo, the Hollywood really means if you understand what Hollywood is, and then you dug the tree, and you know, like we spend so much time decoding shit and trying to be mad deep, but nobody's reverse engineering anything. Yeah, Hollywood is hollow wood, nigga. What's your wand looking like? How you swinging your wand? If that's the case, if they're casting spells through the hollow wood, what spell are we casting? Because you're not there. Hollywood has not gone on strike to my knowledge since its inception. They did not stop making moving pictures. They've been making moving pictures since their inception, so they're not slowing down. It's not stopping. As much as we could decode shit and break these movies down and reveal what's been written and peel the hood back, they did not stop writing these movies. They did. Tyler Perry did not stop getting hired to write black men into roles where they talk about tickling their prostate. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see that shit? Did you see what Tyler's out here doing? Not Tyler the creator, nigga. Tyler Perry. What's up with niggas named Tyler though? So, as you can see, and I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint or the keynote to show you what I'm talking about. You know, there's if we're talking about there's an agenda, right? People are highlighting the fact that there may be agendas out here. Well, shit, I agree. Now that we know that there's an agenda, what the fuck is your agenda? You have to be able to answer that and don't be shooting from the hip. You got to be able to say what your agenda is, right? So American Gods got canceled as well, right? American Gods got canceled. Orlando Bloom said they're going to be canceled being that they came in there, they got rid of Orlando and they got rid of the original director they brought in for season 3, some fugazi ass dude. In the first episode, boom, he gave you a black man that's a woman, you know, transformer, more than meets the eye, right? They took out Orlando, they took out Anansi's character in the first episode with the new writer. He gave you something completely to the left, right? So not only did they cancel that, they went and canceled Black Lightning. You know, do you see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern here? Am I reaching? Is this considered a reach? This all happened in the last few weeks, bro. Or the last few months. I wasn't really watching Black Lightning like that, but people was telling me that it was lit. People was telling me that it was kind of lit, right? Maybe we not meant for this dimension. Now, I'm not giving up that easy. I'm not giving up that easy. We got to have some more fight in us. Maybe we not for this dimension. Says who? And where'd you get that from? Huh. You got to speak for yourself in that situation. No offense. Maybe we not for this dimension. Nah, we for this dimension and any other dimension that we in. I don't know what you talking about. We for all that. You know, I sometimes wake up and feel like I'm in Bizarro World, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And sometimes I don't feel like I'm for this dimension. But that don't stop us from making movies. Like, let's stop saying all of that. We need to, if we not from this dimension, you will have to create the visual representation of the dimension that you're from so you could get there. How about that? You're gonna have to create the bridge to bring you into the dimension that you're from, because until we could collectively agree in our subconscious that we're from said dimension, then what the fuck are you talking about? Because the way that we were able to identify back in the days was through books. We would have literature, and that literature would establish certain things. Collectively, we would read it, we would agree upon that reality would begin to manifest. And then they tweaked that and they start making movies. They made movies, and if you don't see the impact of movies or art imitating life and vice versa, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you need to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You might need to go back to YouTube University for a few more years before you fuck with that conversation over here. If I gotta show you, if I gotta hold your hand and walk you through that, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But society has been greatly impacted by the moving picture. One of the most efficient war weapons that the Pentagon has under their belts would be the Hollywood movie making machine. Henceforth, why CIA has offices and throughout all of the studios in Hollywood. They have their pinky finger in a lot of productions and whatnot. It has to pass them. It has to pass their inspection before they even put it out. Did you know that? Did you know that? So, yeah. I say all of that to say that you know, anybody that's out there creating content, you feel me? Anybody that's out there writing content, because it has to be written first. It starts with the pen, you know. Anybody that's out there shooting content, creating content, whether it be music or film or art, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Kudos to you. You know, kudos to you, and push forward and make those breakthroughs, and you know, and change the narrative, you know what I mean? And put some points up for the home team. Put some points up for the home team. That's right. The game is ours. We'll never foul out. Just better hope that we gracefully bow out. That the game that's being played on a global scale is a game against us. And I'm not saying that to be puffing, to be beating on our drums. You don't see the whole world. You don't see reality oscillating around your existence. You don't realize that. You think that the world is moving around the European. You're still under that impression that the world turns around the affairs of the European, or is counterclockwise. You don't realize that you the prize. You know what I'm talking about? You don't realize that you're the catch, my niggas. You think that somebody else is the catch. You don't realize that you're the most important person in the room right now. You don't realize that the reality that you are existing in is a reality that was created by somebody that had to look like you. Because if it was a reality that they created, it would be worse than what it is. It's really not that bad. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas do a lot of whining and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas do a lot of complaining and we fall on our swords a lot. But to be honest with you, a lot of the pain that we feeling is self-inflicted. You dig what I'm saying? It's self-inflicted. Niggas is weak because they're disunified. You're not coming together. You don't punch as a fist. You only punch as a pinky, and you wonder why you get knocked out. A lot of this shit, it could be fixed overnight if we were to get our shit together. It's all self-inflicted. I come from a reality where the European, although he was somebody's mayor or job or president or manager, they did not hold any kind of fucking fear over our heads when we were coming up. We were fearless when it came to them. We were like, who are they? You know what I'm talking about? I feel bad for this new generation, like my son and them. I feel bad the fact that they had to get all of that propaganda thrown on them in the media, right? Because that's where it was taking place in the media. They got rocked to sleep, and they were put into a place where they were made to be scared of white folk. And that's not the reality that we come from. I'm sorry. That is not the reality that we come from. I thank God for Facebook. Because a nigga smoked so much weed, I would never be able to remember shit that I wrote 8 years ago, 5 years ago. You know what I'm talking about? I don't even know where my mind was at. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, your mind changes with the calendar. I get older, I get wiser. Certain things I'm not in, you know, I get my passion from the moment. So I summon my energy from how I feel in the moment, and I capture it by writing it or drawing it or putting it somewhere where I could timestamp it, right? So before Instagram, I used to go crazy on Facebook. I didn't do Twitter and whatnot. I used to do the Facebook because Facebook didn't have a limit. Because no, I don't do the 140 word. I can't write with no nigga. You're not gonna give me a fucking limit on my characters. You know what I'm talking about? I need to express myself. So Facebook updates, that was my thing until people's grandmamas and grandparents took over Facebook and it became their platform. So 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, in observation of how shit was going down and the things that I was observing, I was like, yo, let's be honest. The war against the super this was when Trump was coming into, this was around July 2016. So nobody was already the president yet. They were still trying to dictate who the president was going to be. Right. So in 2016, I was able to peep some shit. I was able to visually see something and be and report on it and say, look, this is what I see. Right. And like I said, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box. What I say ain't fucking law, you know, it's how I see it. But the way that you're able to tell what it is, you know what I mean? I don't have to be a egomaniac. All I got to do is sit back and let time do what it has to do. Time is going to make you a legend. You feel me? That's why I say, don't doubt yourself. You may be ahead of your time. You may be a soothsayer. You may be somebody who's able to project your mind in, you know, into a reality this light years ahead. You know what I mean? So when you write shit or when you think things, don't be like, oh nah, I'm not gonna put that on paper because that's a little too far fetched. Niggas ain't on that right now. It's not for niggas right now. It's for you 10 years from late. It's you setting yourself up to be in a better place 10 years later from now by writing it down right now, by writing that book, this fucking a vision right now, by drawing some shit that's coming to your mind right now, by writing those 16 bars, this wild spacey and whatnot, where you rapping like you on Mars, my nigga. You write that right now because who the fuck knows where you're gonna be in 10 years? You don't know. You don't know. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta trust yourself. You know? And as black men, we're not taught to trust ourselves. Niggas get caught up in all of this religious folly. You know what I mean? Niggas is fake religious. You trying to put your brain in Nazareth, thousands of years behind you, when you supposed to be putting your mind ahead of you, my nigga. Supposed to be putting your mind in the future. That's why these niggas, the only future niggas know is homie from Atlanta. That's the only future niggas know. They hear Kwame Brown talking about coding, right? Salute to him for continuing the conversation. We started that conversation in 2015, 14. But it's gonna take more of us, not just one or two voices. We all gotta start talking like that. But people hear coding and they hear engineering and they hear all of this stuff and they get intimidated because they're not thinking into the future. The only future they know is Molly Percocet future. So you got to project yourself into a time that does not exist, where you're the fucking winner, my nigga, where you're the victor, not the victim, where you got all of these niggas back for doing us wrong, where you scored and you came back and you whacked every single motherfucker that did us wrong. That's the future that we looking for. Go and hit Sophia Stewart on the inbox, nigga, and figure out how to put some fiction together. She gave you the idea to Terminator. Nigga came back in time and he was whacking shit. You know what I'm talking about? So the motherfucker don't so the nigga can't be created in the future. Come on now. The behind you time ain't real. That's right. Who the fuck? How do you know if you don't know what the fuck took place behind you? Niggas don't even know what took place last week, let alone thousands of years ago. So I was peeping shit right around the time when Donald Trump was running for president and Hillary. And I said, let's be honest, the war against the super predators will only get worse in the new administration. The Zimmerman case will go down in history as the catalyst to this crusade. The Spanish Jew sent the Mason's son up with a shot to the heart. The trial dealt with criminalizing the felony look and linking your thuggery through your social media profile. Zimmerman, women, I don't know what that. I don't know what that. I don't know what that's about. I didn't even know that the shit was muted. Pardon me. All right, let me just read it again. You know what I'm talking about? Like, my bad. I said, let's be honest. The war against the super predators will only get worse in the new administration. This was July the 12th, 2016. This Zimmerman's case will go down in history as the catalyst to this crusade. The Spanish Jew sent the Mason's son up with a shot to the heart, right? The Spanish Jew, that's Zimmerman, the Spanish Jew. When you see the protests going on right now in Miami with the Cubans, my nigga, think Zimmerman. Okay? That's the prototype. When you see them shutting down a highway and they like, yo, send missiles to Cuba and we need to help liberate the Cubans, think Zimmerman. Okay? That's the prototype of the Cubans that you will come across, because I wrote this same status update right here. I wrote this right here from Miami. I was staying on Biscayne Boulevard at a building called a Quantum. If anybody's from Miami, you know what a Quantum is. It's one of those luxury high rises. And who lives in those luxury high rises? Nothing but white Cubans, right? Nothing but Cubans who don't look like Vanessa Del Rio or the dude who be boxing from Cuba, who Deontay Wilder
To this day,
put mittens on.
to this day.
I think his name is Ortiz. I ain't talking about those Cubans. I'm talking about the Cubans that look like Pitbull, right? Armando. I'm talking about the Cubans that look like Diego, my nigga, with the blue eyes and the blonde hair, the conquistadors' children. I'm talking about them people. That's what I see when I see Zimmerman. That's the prototype. They all up in Orlando, Naples, and all up and down Florida and whatnot. They don't like you. Okay? And I was amongst them when they gave him an acquittal for killing Trayvon Martin. I was in Miami when the tension was wild thick. If anybody lives in Miami, you could remember what I'm talking about. It's so many trauma that we have endured ever since the Trayvon verdict. Niggas is numb and we can't even remember shit like that. But I remember it clearly. I was right there. It was in 2013. It was in 2013. So I'm able to measure a lot of the things that are going on in society with this remember, the psyops that they're playing with is a race-based psyops. When they interjected this whole black thing in the race as a construct, and they made everything black and white. That's the Trayvon Martin trial. But in the Trayvon Martin trial was the demonization and the dehumanization of an archetype, and that was the black child, the black young man in particular. The same object or the same subject that around the same time they were signing a record deal with a young man in Chicago, Illinois by the name of Chief Keef, who was even younger than Trayvon Martin, and he was being signed to a major label in 2012 around the same fucking time where our people was out here boycotting with Skittles and hoodies and whatnot. They were signing him because he was a drill rapper, and his aesthetics and everything that he talked about in his whole crew and whatnot. And when they bodied the young boy, little JoJo and whatnot, their story matched the fucking lyrics, right? So that's how they rocked us to sleep. They was, they was like, all right, y'all out here protesting about Black lives. That was the beginning of Black Lives Matter. That's when people started saying those chants. It was during like the Trayvon era, but it really kicked off with Mike Brown. Hands up, don't shoot, Black Lives Matter, and all of this other stuff. And then we get the I can't breathe. All negative affirmations, right? All negative affirmations, right? So the catalyst, when we say catalyst, right, they said that the Emmett Till murder back in the days was the catalyst to the civil rights movement, meaning that it sparked it, meaning that it was the thing that got it started. It was the spark that lit the fire. The Trayvon Martin trial, right? The Trayvon Martin trial, when he was murdered during the All-Star game in Orlando on All-Star weekend. Sanford and Orlando is not far from each other. On the All-Star weekend, February 23rd of 2012 in Orlando and Magic City and whatnot, Zimmerman sent that little boy up, right? During the halftime, shot him in the heart. And he in the picture that they have of him on the lawn is the same picture of the quote unquote tower card and whatnot. The same position where he had his legs crossed with his mouth open and his eyes rolled up in his fucking head. And they let that picture leak and whatnot, because anybody that's in any type of secret society and whatnot, the minute you see that picture, you remember the card. You remember the card. And then it did not, it was not missing. Nobody was missing the fact that Trayvon Martin's father was a Mason, but George Zimmerman's father was a Mason. Trayvon Martin's father was a Prince Hall Mason, and George Zimmerman's father was a Scottish or Yorkish Rite Mason. You understand? Higher degrees. He was an ex-judge and whatnot. So that card trumped the other card. Right? So when anybody from a metaphysical standpoint was looking at that situation, oh, this is a ritual. This is a psyops. They're putting us in this bag now. They're putting us in this bag where they're going to traumatize the younger generation and have the younger generation thinking that white people and people who don't look like them are out to kill them. I would want to ask the family, and we're going to get into it probably when I drop the link and y'all come in and whatnot. Remember, prior to that, 2008, Barack Obama, right, was the president, right? And young melanated men and women were thinking about becoming the president. They wasn't talking about, oh, my life is at no 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds and teenagers and young adults were thinking that their life was at stake. They didn't think that. They wasn't having those conversations. They weren't in fear. What are you talking about? Nobody was moving with that narrative. Nobody was moving with that narrative. These little dudes was like, my president is black. My Lambo is blue. The young girls wanted to be Michelle or Sasha. After Trayvon, the mass psyop, psychological operation, everything started to change. So I was calling it out during the presidential run because Donald Trump's presidential run tapped into the energy of the Trayvon trial. Okay. The Donald Trump, when him went with all of that sentiment with these white folk, they were still in fear that a black man was president and whatnot. He was tapping into all of that. You feel me? Donald Trump was tapping into the fear that these Europeans still had, but the hate that they had, the fear and the hate are one and one. What did Frances Cress Welsing explain to us? She explained to us the root of the fear. She explained to us the root of the hatred, and it was way beyond somebody's simplistic Webster's Dictionary's definition of what these niggas call racism. Racism is not enough. It does not completely define what is taking place. I would defer to Neely Fuller's definition. I would not stop at racism. Okay? That does not do enough. That don't do enough. So here we go. I said, let's be honest, the war against the super predators will only get worse in the new administration. The Zimmerman case will go down in history as the catalyst to this crusades. The Spanish Jew sent the Mason's son up with a shot to the heart. The trial dealt with criminalizing the felony look and linking your thuggery through your social media profile. What's the felony look? Nigga, a black hoodie. Talk about the black hoodie. The felony look is you niggas walking around with your pants sagging. The felony look was your face tattoos. The felony looks was braids. The felony looks was fitted hats. Right? That's the felony look. The felony look was we're going to pull black men over and shoot them. We're going to stop black men from selling cigarettes and choke them to death. We're going to pull black men over with their girlfriend in the car and body him in front of his girlfriend while they're on live. He has the felony look, right? They killed Terrence Clutch in Oklahoma, OKC. He was dressed like a preacher man. He had a suit on, I believe, and the white lady smoked him, right? So the felony look, yeah, wife beaters, like with George Floyd, do-rags, wife beaters, the felony look. So before that, they were not linking people's thuggery through their social media accounts. Immediately after the George Zimmerman trial, now, yo, we're going to indict you based off of your social media activity. Oh, we found Pooh Shiesty. We gave him a federal charge because the feds was watching his social media and they was able to match the pin number or the serial number on some money that he was holding with the serial number of money that we found at the crime scene. Somebody dropped a bag with $40,000 in it. The feds took the fucking serial numbers of the money that was in the bag, went to his social media and blew the picture up that he was holding a bankroll and was able to match the serial number. That's how meticulous they're getting with it, right? Bobby Shmurda and GS9, they go down, they get locked up. And how do they get locked up? It's off of their social media activity, right? It's a whole bunch of people. I'm talking about it's tons of niggas off of World Star and other places that will probably never even be mentioned in the nigga Bible. And they went down based off of their social media activity where the feds, instead of sweeping the block, they out here sweeping the explore page, right? Okay. But like I said, the psyop was while we were marching for the preservation of a black life, they were throwing 30 million. I don't know how much the Chief get signed for, 10 million or something. They were throwing millions of dollars behind drill rap and took it from a regional thing into a national thing into a global thing. He was already buzzing. He had an underground buzz though. When he got signed, that shit went over and it was over and it was on and popping from that point on. Not to say that the crimes or the killings in Chicago weren't happening before that, but now it was on a grand scale. Now it was in the subconsciousness of young children all around the world. Now they were sitting around taking sides on these wars that are taking place where they're like, yo, I want to see this person die because this is my favorite artist. We're not talking about the Timberland and Swiss Beat verses where the rappers is getting up there going song for song. No, they going body for body. They're going body for body. They going body for body. You know what I'm talking about? This shit real. Look, they just ran up in Lil Durk crib. You know, I don't fuck with Vlad, but I had to go there to find out the story. Right? So they just killed his brother. Right? We already put it out there. Protect Little Durk at all costs. His brother got killed last month. Headshot. Right? Because this is how we could tie it all. This is how we could show you that it's all tied in. Little Durk comes out of the Chief Keef wave. I got introduced to Little Durk in like 2012, 2013, around the same time of Trayvon. He was younger than Trayvon. These was 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. And they was out there drilling shit. They literally they've been at war ever since I've been introduced to him. They've been at war. They've been at war. I'm talking about body for body. To the point where it has reached his doorstep. To where him and his Wiz had to have a shootout in his home. because they coming to get that boy. His clock is ticking. And I don't mean to say it like that, but you know, his clock is ticking. These young boys are playing a game that they know that they can't win. You cannot play, like, if you're not into the occult rituals or the cult way of life, and you out here disgracing the dead, and you don't got no protection, and you're not feeding the ants, bro. Are you, nigga? This is Candyman in real life. Fuck you saying, like. To the point where I saw a video the other day where a LA gangster, he was going off. He was like, yo, we not them Chicago dudes. Y'all better stop talking about y'all smoking on somebody and y'all out here desecrating the dead by trying to spray paint over them and stuff like that. That's not it. You gonna call, you know what they say, if you speak death, then you seek death. You can't be calling the name of people that your peoples have killed. You can't be disgracing their names like that. That's not how it's done. You can't be pissing on graves. They got videos where dudes are defecating and pissing on graves. I'm talking about they're taking it all the way there. And I'm not talking about Little Dirk. I'm just saying the whole culture. When you tap into that culture, that 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50-year-old niggas is into. DMX was 50, right? He was into the drill niggas a little bit. I'm in my mid 40s. I could tell you all about the drill scene. You go to the club, everybody's outside right now because it's summertime, right? Go to one of them day parties where old niggas be at with the salt and pepper. The minute they put on a drill song, them niggas gonna be trying to do the pop smoke dance. Fuck is you saying? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Let's not try to play all, oh no, son. I listen to Hall and Oates, and you know, nah, nigga, niggas your age is listening to drill, and they picking sides. They picking sides. So we are still instigating our own genocide, whether we know it or not. It's ingrained in the culture so thoroughly at this point where we can't differentiate. Everybody is clicked up and linked up. And they killed Vaughn, so niggas naturally want revenge. They killed Little Dirk's brother, and you like Little Dirk, so you want the people that murked him to get murked. We watched The Wire. You know, we watched all of these shows that prepared us for the shit like this. We watched Power and whatnot. This shit is real life Power and The Wire and all of that, and we don't care because it's not hitting home. It's just another body. It's a new hook, my nigga. It's another flavor to smoke. And now every single hood, right, has these wars taking place. You feel me? All of the hoods got the wars taking place. So it started out in Chicago and went over to the UK and then came back to Brooklyn. And then Brooklyn, by way of Pop Smoke, right? Who commercialized the drill culture, and he took it further than where Chief Keef had taken it. Not to say that because now niggas gonna, you know, the Chief Keef stance is gonna get all crazy. Like, what do you mean, brother? What do you mean? Oh, Sosa for life. No, stupid Negro. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is levels to this shit. Pop Smoke took it to another level than where it was currently at, and he stretched it, right? He stretched it, and he made it a real global thing, right? His album has been on the charts. He got a new album dropping tonight, right? It's 20 new tracks, right? It's gonna hit the charts. It's gonna be number one on the charts. But the first album that they put out, the shit hit the charts and never left. It's still on the charts. It's still on the charts. You feel me? It ain't go nowhere. So that just goes to show you the appeal, right? That just goes to show you the appeal of his music. And it's not just his music, because like I said, when you listen to Pop Smoke, it's not the most drill heavy type of music. It ain't like every song he's talking about killing another person. A lot of his shit is coded and whatnot, and it's party music. You feel me? He got a lot of party music, and he's speaking to the gallum. He's a gallus man, right? The gals love him. The ladies love Pop Smoke. So that they're gonna they have immortalized him, right? But the youngins love him because of his swag and shit like that, and the way that how he was moving. So he's appealing to a lot of people, and he's a Crip, and that's a very big set. So he has a lot of things going for him. You feel me? So what I witnessed, and we did a show about this. We did A.A. Rashid as a special guest. The week that he got murdered, we did an emergency. We popped up and did a show, right? And we named it Aesthetic Nihilism. And what did we talk about? Oh, we was like, oh, nah, this shit is about to spread, right? The drill culture, this shit is about to spread. And when I talk about the drill culture, you got to understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it's a genre of the music, but it's a different type of genre, because this shit's dealing with real-time drama. It's dealing with real-time murders. It's dealing with real-time, like dudes that are really looking for each other. And you could get it on site. You could get it on site. What does that mean, Red? What that means is, if you got drama with a certain clique, it's on and popping. I don't care if you with your wife, you could be with your child, you could be at court, right? Wherever you at, my niggas, it's on and popping. The drill is on, right? The drill is on. Right? So this is another level of gang music. This is not just regular gang music. My nigga, this is high level. This is a whole nother level of gang music. This is real life Call of Duty. Right? This is real life Call of Duty. There's real bodies behind this shit. I just showed you a clip where 200 rappers got killed in 2020. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube and put 200 rappers dead for 2020 and see what the fuck pops up. I'm not making this up. This dude got shot 64 times while leaving jail, in front of the jail in Chicago. Right? He was an op. He had drama. Right? He had drama. He had dramas for a few years. I heard that he was laying shit down and whatnot. Right? He had smoke with niggas. They shot him and his mama. Right? You heard my conversations that I had on this show, where I was expressing the fact that, if a race soldier gets locked up, based off of the information that I have and the experience that I've had behind the wall, well, shit, that should be a plus for the people because there's no way that you cannot get touched behind the wall, right? Because if they want you, they're gonna get you. That's one thing I know about behind the wall. It don't matter if you in protective custody or you know high level protective. You could get touched anywhere behind that wall. The same way if a CO wanna give a nigga some neck, right? Because there's a lot of women CO that be doing a lot of sexual favors. There's a ton of phones in the jail, right? Niggas be going live, and there's probably somebody watching me right now, gang, gang, from behind the wall because they got phones, they got burners, they got little guns and whatnot. They found those before. They got all type of sizes of blades and knives and razors and everything that you can imagine. So if they could get all of that behind the wall, they could get you straight like that. They could get you. You could get touched. The COs would touch you for a bag, right? If you be like, yo, it's 100 bands on this, it's bruh. Not on these people YouTube. I won't be out here talking like this, but you understand what I'm saying. I've never seen nothing as brazen as some shit like this right here. They didn't get him around the corner. They didn't get him down the block on the highway because you know the new thing is to track somebody. They put the automatic tracker on your car, and you turn into a Uber Eats feast. You ever been in an Uber or a Lyft, and you could see a driver coming to you? Well, that's the same thing that they be doing when they put trackers on your car now, or like the devices, like the homing devices. You know what I mean? You in the club, you popping bottles, somebody put a tracker on your car, they sit in the car and late for you, and you get Peter rolled right on the highway because they could GPS you. That they could, I'm giving you game right now. They didn't even take it that far. They Peter rolled him right in front of the goddamn right in front of the jail. And I've been in Chicago before. I was with Pitbull when he was on tour back in the days, and he took us to the Spanish hood, to the Latin King hood, and the jail is right there in the street in the middle of the hood. Like if you go to Brooklyn, you could see Brooklyn House on the way to the Brooklyn Bridge. The shit is right there on right off of Flatbush on Atlantic Ave. It's right in it's not a hood right there, but it's right there. Like, it's a major street right there. So he got cooked in front of Cook County. They cooked him right in front of Cook County. 64 hit him, hit his mama, and somebody else that was with him. That's what we're talking when we say drill. This is what we're talking about, right? There was a situation in New York City where a 13-year-old got killed. The Bronx, right? Somebody said that his mom should have never been there. That's understandable. But what if, I don't know the situation and I'm not speaking about no situations, but what if somebody made your moms come and get you out of the joint so they could kill you and your moms had no other choice but to do that? What about that? You know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know what war is about? Or, we listen to the shit on iTunes. We not in the middle of these wars. This shit is real out here. Teen fatally shot a 13-year-old, right? My son is 13. My little man is 13, right? When I see a story like that, I'm like, yo, little niggas is wilding. These little dudes is wilding, bro. And even though we was wilding, you know, my generation, we was on some wild shit. We was wily coyotes, you know. What we did do is we listened to our OGs though, right? What we did do is we kept our, we kept our heads, we stayed focused, you know, but we wasn't too above reproach. Like the OGs, they had the ability to have a word with us. Not with the younger generations. It's a little harder to reach them. And it's understandable because, as the generations go, they get a little more distant from the older generation. Sometimes it's just open rebellion. You feel me? Sometimes it's open rebellion. So I say all of that to say, and look, just to show you how crazy this shit is, right? Like my young son, Amir, he's 13. He's beginning to live his life, right? He's his own young man, right? He called me up the other day, said, Daddy, I got recruited to be in a music video. I said, you got recruited to be in a music video? Said, yeah, I was in the park playing basketball and ASAP Rocky hopped out and the casting people and they want me to be in a video. And I'm like, okay, let me talk to your mother. You know what I mean? And we had a conversation and she was there. She was like, everything was cool. You know what I mean? They were out there scouting and whatnot to do a video. Come to find out that later on, he's good. Yeah, the thing, he's good. But the crazy thing about it is the whole thing that I was able to juxtapose, and I'm like, here it is. You have a 13-year-old, he's enjoying his summer. You know, he's having his exposure to the little videos and stuff like that. Little shorties is on him and all of that. You know what I mean? He's 13 years old. He has to be allowed to live his life. But at the same time, in his same hood, right? There's another 13-year-old who's basically gang banging, right? And fighting for their lives. And if we really care about these children, if we really want to propel them into a future where they feel safe, if we really want to combat the culture, because the culture is not going to apologize for eating them up and spitting them out. You missed the story? Oh, well, the story is that there was a music video in my son's hood. You know what I mean? They had a music videos with ASAP and Rihanna and whatnot. And my son and a few of his friends, they're in the scene playing basketball. It's as simple as that. It's no Illuminati stupid shit and whatnot. It's just the fact that they were scouting that area because they were shooting a video this weekend and whatnot. So he's gonna get his look in the video. You know what I mean? Like whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when I was 13, shit. Was I in a video? I wasn't in no videos at 13. It took me later on down in life. You know what I mean? But videos are harmless. You know what I mean? I've been in a video before. It's harmless. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's in a you know, he's not like he's in a romantic scene with Rihanna. But you know, look, he, you know what I'm saying? Like he got to chop it up with her and stuff like that. You know, I mean, he's living his life. There he go right there. You know, he with Rihanna. They chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like they're on a video set, you know. And he deserves to, as a teenager, he deserves to have those types of experiences. You feel me? He deserves to have those types of experiences because for a 13-year-old, that's big for him. You know what I mean? For a 13-year-old, you know, he gets to go to talk up. He could talk about that when he goes to high school, and that's his little bragging rights and all of these other little things, you know. And to be honest with you, after seeing what took place with the gang member, I'm saying to myself, our children deserve to be in shit like that. They deserve to have opportunities. They deserve to be in places where they're safe. You feel me? They deserve to be, you know, around you know, if there's celebrities that they're into and stuff like that, they deserve to be in, you know, in that situation. Not in a situation where they're on the front page of the daily news because of some gang war where they didn't even have the opportunity to grow into who they are. You feel me? You say he's IG famous? Yeah, he kind of lit right now. You know what I'm talking about? You know, he's kind of lit right now. And you know, I can't hoard over my son and try to control, you know, his wave or try to control. I'm his father. I'm always going to protect them and I'll always be there. You know what I mean? As the father who I am, I'm gonna always be there. And I prepared my son to be in the limelight or to be who he's been born to be, because my son is going to be greater than me. And I've always said that. You know what I mean? Me and his mother, we already made that decision. You know, then all my children would be greater than me. Not just my firstborn, all of them, all three of my children. And that's not really that hard to do. You know, that's really not that hard to do. So these babies deserve more. They really do. They deserve a lot more. You know? Oh yeah, they did pay him. You know that. Come on. You know they gotta break bread. We're not gonna have that. You know? We ain't gonna have that. We don't do nothing for free. You know? But it's a shame that we don't have anything set up for them. You know, we don't have our version of Hollywood. We don't have a safe environment for them. If the you know, a lot of us got star seeds and they're naturally stars. And I told you about this struggle before. You feel me? That I've met the children of people who quote unquote follow me and listen to me. You know what I mean? I've sat down and had conversations with 5-year-olds and stuff like that. And they're naturally stars. These star seeds are naturally stars. I don't know if they've been made for the big screen. They've been made for a screen that's bigger than the big screen. You feel me? I've run into some solidified ancestors who have returned in the bodies of little children, right? They have personality out of this world, right? And then I'm like, well, shit, what safe haven do we have for them that's going to, you know, that's going to celebrate who they are? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what outlet do we have that we can celebrate them and we could put them in a place where they're bigger than life and they're like, yo, I that's a good look. I'm looking good right now. I'm looking real nice. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm popping. Where? Because I don't know. I don't know where it is. It's not Hollywood. It's not Disneyland. It's not Nickelodeon. So we have to create these places. If these places it does not exist, and we know what the Hollywood Weinstein Epstein world is about, and we know what all of these quote unquote agendas are, why are we not collectively putting together, right? A safe place, a safe environment, a place where they could be creative and creators and get monetized and get their rightful due off of what it is that they're putting out and whatnot, their intellectual property. That should be priority. That should be priority. Because look at what's happening to the 13-year-olds. Look at what's happening to the 14-year-olds. They're like, yo, the only way that we're going to make it to the news, or the only way that we're going to make it to the blogs, or the only way that we're going to be lit is that we're going to have to lay something down. Right? That's some of their mind states. Yo, we got to lay something. We got to body something. We got to catch a stain. Right? To be considered, worthy of praise or worthy of fame or any of these other little things that people are out here chasing, because we in an attention economy. Don't get it fucked up. These little children want attention the same way that adults. It's 80-year-old motherfuckers that are out here trying to get attention. They got 80-year-old clout chasers. You feel me? So I'm not gonna talk your head off. I'm gonna drop the link to the StreamYard in the comments, or the chat, like they like to call it. If you have a question, if you have comments, right? We're not doing no product plugs right now. We're not doing the 1 hour stories right now. We doing questions or concerns. Like you could state something if you want to state it, but it should be very quick. We're not gonna do the long drawn, because I do have the Grammy music. I'll start playing that shit on you and we'll get you up out of here. I got Sandman working with me too, my nigga. Don't get pulled up off the line. You know what I'm talking about? So I'll drop the link. I gave the ladies enough time to get their hair did, you know what I mean? Fix their hair, hat, or whatever they had to do to be aesthetically ready. You know what I mean? I'm not talking to nobody with the lights out. And if there's any type of machines buzzing, I'm cutting you live. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to be on here talking to me while your vibrator is on. We're not doing that. Okay. It's just a disclaimer. Shit happen. I got trolled before on Instagram. I don't even want to talk about it. Let me drop a bomb to that. Sage the fucking room. We gotta have to sage the room again. You know what I mean? Let's be respectful. You know what I'm talking about? I am a parent. You know what I mean? I'm a parent of children. Let's be respectful. Yeah. Don't get the Kevin Samuels treatment. Don't let me make you famous. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be famous for the right reasons. Don't let me make you famous. So the first 10 people, I dropped it in the chat right there. Boom. The first 10 people, you could take and click that link and you will pop up, and I will open up the line and we'll chop it up. We'll have some we'll have some conversation. You know what I mean? Somebody said this ain't boo. Yeah, this is not Boozy's live, my nigga. You gotta wait for him to go live to do the ratchet shit, but this is not Boozy's live. So right there where you see this link in the chat room, it says StreamYard. that is the link that you can use. Boom, and it will bring you into the show. All right, and then we'll take it from there, my friends. All right, so the first person that we have is Uncrowned King. All right, yeah. Peace to the God.
Peace to the God.
Salute. Peace, King. How's everything?
Oh, everything is great, man. I can't complain. I appreciate you.
Indeed.
Appreciate you doing what you do.
Oh, for sure. Indeed.
Oh,
Where you
everything is
tapping
great,
in
man.
from?
I can't complain. I'm out here in southeast Georgia, man. I'm down here like 40 minutes behind Savannah.
Okay, how is it out there? Is that considered the country?
Yeah, we like in the country, man. We down here where the young boy Ahmaud Arbery like got killed, but we like
Right,
45 minutes north of that.
right. And how's everything going on? What's the temperature like out there on the ground and whatnot ever since that situation took place?
Well, it's one of them situations where it's we have spikes in crime, violence and whatnot, but nothing like steady like a Chicago or LA
Right,
or something like that. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right,
it spikes. Like we just had like a little drive-by situation like a couple of days ago.
right, right,
On one of the main strips out here, but nothing too heavy though. You know.
right, right. Question for you, my brother. Do you have a solution that we could share to help the youth that are going through these quote unquote, I would say um they're being misguided? Is there a way to get them back on track?
Well, according to close my door for me. Close my door, baby. Yeah, close my door. Thank you. Well, according to I try to live by the Hermetic principles, the laws of Tahuti. You dig what I'm saying? So all paradoxes can be solved.
Right,
You know what I mean? So this is one of those situations where it needs to be all hands on deck.
right,
Period. Point blank. It can't be none of this standing on the sidelines no more. It got to be all hands on deck. If you are one of these people, you're like, well, what can I do? I don't have any kids. You have to get involved as well because we've abandoned a lot of principles that we used to cling to, that we used to practice. And one
right.
of them that was real helpful was, it takes a village to raise a child. You
That's a
did what
fact.
I'm saying? So we really have to get back to that. That's what I think. I don't know the answers or anything like that. But like I said, judging from the way it is now and living by the codes or the principle, the laws of Tahuti, all paradoxes can be solved. So this is another one that we just gonna have to band together and solve. Like you mentioned earlier, we've been hitting with a pinky and not with a closed fist. So
Facts.
we can do
Not as,
more
not as
damage.
effective when it's not all of us together hitting at once.
Correct.
We can
So
knock down those walls.
there you go, and that's pretty much it. We have the answers.
Right.
We've laid the foundation plenty of times, plenty of times.
Plenty.
You
I
know,
feel the same
um,
way.
the God energy has returned and left so many times to show us that we have what it takes to get this thing in order. We just have to do it. You know.
Thank you, King. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna go to the next call. All right, salute. All right,
Peace.
no doubt. Peace. You have a channel that you want to share with the fam? You wanna push anything?
I mean, real quick, the King's Corner podcast, man. I'm on YouTube.
Okay.
I ain't making too much noise, but
Look. Like you
it
said,
is what
all
it is.
hands on deck. So the King's Corner podcast family, let's get those numbers up for the brother. Tap in, see what the brother has to talk about, and then see if he's looking for guests and whatnot. Because remember, it's the network. Your net worth is your network. So we have a powerful, rich network, and we have to be able to mine these networks to find where's the hidden gems, where's all of these things that have been waiting to be, because like you said, we have new world problems, but we have to figure out where the new world answers are, and that's amongst our new world, and that's the people. So I appreciate you, man. Next time we go live, hopefully we tap back in with you.
Oh, indeed. Yes, indeed. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, salute. All right. All right, we got my brother Slick Rod. Let me bring the brother in. Peace, King.
Yo, what's up? What's up, Red?
What's good with you, my brother? How's everything?
I'm doing good.
Salute.
I'm down here in the home of Michael Jordan. Can you hear me, Red?
Yeah, I can hear you. Where you tapping in from?
Wilmington, North Carolina, home of Michael Jordan.
Hold on. Now, if you follow the show, you know I talk a lot about Wilmington. I get into the Wilmington race riots. I identify the Wilmington race riots in 1898 as the catalyst to what we know as the quote unquote white supremacy. Now, a lot of people know about the deep state, but not a lot of people know about the deep South and whatnot. And what the deep South was a conglomerate of good old boys, the different towns and cities that you see in South Carolina, North Carolina, that after the Wilmington race riots, they all began to band together, and they created this bond, this impendent. It's almost like the blue wall of silence. And then the deep South also trickled into like Texas and other places where the good old boy network, through political ties, you know, the invisible empire, which would be the KKK, which are in positions of power and political spaces and whatnot. And now where you see the critical race theory, where they're fighting the story from coming out in these schools, that has a lot to do with the deep South and the Daughters of the American Revolution, you know, all that shit.
Right. You know, I'm born in 71, so I grew up, you know, I'm a little older, you know, but
yes, you're OG.
I remember as a teenager when it got dark, it was certain parts of town that you better not be in.
Right.
It's plenty of times trucks pulled up behind me and my homeboys coming from the basketball court, and you had to break out. You
had to run.
You knew what it was.
Right. What about Cape Fear?
What, Cape Fear? What, the college?
Nah,
that's where I'm from. Cape Fear, Port City. You know,
that's what I'm saying. I was told that they put a lot of bodies in the Cape and whatnot.
Look, Red, big real talk. I build bridges and I do marina work, right?
Right.
They building an amphitheater right by the Cape Fear River, right?
Right.
So we drive Powlands. We do, you know, I drive Powlands. They driving Powlands one day. Guess what they find? A tibular bone. They come get the bone, and they want to see, is it some of the bones from the race riot, right?
From the riot,
because what they did was they ran all the people down to the river where they didn't have nowhere else to run.
Right.
And they set the docks and everything on fire.
Right.
And right there where we building the amphitheater, you can still see the burnt timbers in the ground when we dig them up with our excavators.
Right.
So I just got one question for you though, Red.
Okay, let's shoot.
Okay, now earlier you was talking about how the youth into all the drilling and all those type things, because even in Wilmington, North Carolina, the gang culture is big here, right?
Right.
Well, it's starting to get bigger. We having a lot more murders. When I was growing up, if one person got killed in a year, it was a big thing. Now we up to 80, 70, 80, 100. I don't know if you see it on CNN. Probably about 4 or 5 months ago, some kids got killed at a party. About 4 or 5 kids. You can Google it. About 4 or 5 kids got killed at a party in Wilmington, and those type things would never happen here when I was growing up.
Right.
So the question I'm asking you is, what does it mean for the rest of us with all when we catching it from the white man, and we also catching it from our youth? Because I'm an older cat, but I got 30-year-old kids all the way down to 4-year-old kids. So what does that mean for my 13-year-old? What's the solution to that, Red? That's my question.
See, you know what I mean? I'm out here rallying for my 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, you know, as a father, first and foremost, before anything, as a father, I'm like, nah, this ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even travel far away from my son without being, you know, I just, you know, as a father, as a parent, you know, you it's safety first. It's safety first. And it's like, also, I'm still a father, but I'm still a participant in the culture. And the culture, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like the culture is not intricately weaved into the fuckery. And it's hard to get away from it because as a part of the culture, it's in my veins and whatnot. I'm still plugged in. I'm still tapped in. So people be like, I don't even listen to the radio no more. I'm like, fam, if you in the culture, that means you outside. If you outside, you outside. Like, you don't gotta listen to it. It's already in the vein of whatever you being fed. So it's in the air. It's like, you know, and you know, I'm in a position to where I gotta tap into the culture because I'm a correspondent, I'm a teacher, you know what I mean? I almost got to get in the mud. So it's, you know, it's not easy to separate yourself to be like, oh, now I want to be a parent right now. You know what I mean? And you know what the shit is about, and you know what's going down, and you know how infectious it is. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are we to do? Because what's the option? Do we tell the shooters just to aim their guns to 90 degrees that way? You know what I mean? Because it seems like it seems like they want to shoot.
You know, I listen to I listen to you and Blue talk about grounding and stuff. You know, I live in the country. I don't actually live in Wilmington no more. I live in Castle Hayne on the outskirts of Wilmington. So I take my son outside with his shoes off and let him walk through the grass. You know,
as you should.
I got gardens, I got blueberries, I got peaches, I got squash, I got bell pepper, I got all of that. I let my son dig that earth up with me. You know what I'm saying? So to be in touch with nature. But I just want to tell you, I've been watching you and your brother since your Sinetta days, you know, 9-10 years ago. And I always just want the big you up, bro, because you be dropping them jewels, man. You and your brother, hey, y'all the dynamic duo.
That's what's
up. Twin power, baby. I got twin sisters, matter of fact.
Oh,
so I know that I know that twin power.
Yeah, the twin pillars. You already know. But yeah, we're gonna keep the conversation going. I appreciate you.
Okay, King, and you be easy, Red.
All right, no doubt. Peace. All right. Yes, brother was lit. So yeah, I'm pulling up my next guest. This is my brother right here. This is the Mo. You know what I'm talking about? Out of the A. You know what I mean? Allah, I see you. This is my bro right here. My bro Tyrane L. He I've had him on Melanin Mondays before. So without any further ado, let me bring the God in. Let me bring the God Allah in there too. Peace, y'all. What's good?
Peace, God.
Peace, God. Tyrane. His screen is frozen and whatnot. Hold on, let me bring him out. Bring him back in.
What's goody? Brother that got murdered on
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. You was stuck for a minute.
All right, peace, Lord. Yeah,
peace,
did
Lord.
you hear about the young brother from Cali?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear the young brother from Cali who out there on IG Live?
I saw that on IG Live, right? And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where my trauma's coming from, right? Because I'm not gonna play like I'm too cool and whatnot. A lot of these niggas be running around like they don't have hearts, and they just too cool on YouTube.
A lot of
that
is
hold on, King.
Like they really exploiting people getting
yeah, you
murdered,
buffering, Tyrane.
Like,
you might have to go in the house and get the Wi-Fi because you buffering right now. So I'm gonna remove it and I'm gonna come back to you in like 2 minutes, right? So my trauma is the fact that I'm not supposed to see nobody taking their last breath on the internet. I'm not ready for that. And I'm not, especially if that's not an op, you know what I mean? Like I could look at Op in their eyes on their last breath and be like, you know, you're gonna remember this face, nigga. Like, but I'm not ready to look at I don't know that man. And
Yeah.
it would have been more upsetting if I knew him. But they had this young man all on the internet getting shot up, and nobody censored it. They didn't care if you saw him taking his last breath. And it's like, how many snuff films are we gonna watch before we could admit that shit kind of fucked us up? Because when I was younger and niggas started watching Faces of Death, I promise you, they became a little more desensitized to catching bodies around my way. Did you see that video, Allah?
Yeah, I actually seen it, and it's crazy and it's traumatizing to me when I got sent it, because as you can see, like my mouth, when I talk, my mouth goes to the side kind of, because
Right.
I got done that same way in Los Angeles. You know, I'm from Oakland. You know,
Wow.
yeah, you know, I'm from Oakland. I
Yeah,
was
you
in
from
Los
Oakland.
Angeles, and I was at a weed spot getting some weed. Long story short, but I was too comfortable. I sat there for too long. You know, I usually have a lot of jewelry on, like a
Right.
lot of jewelry on, Rolexes. And long story short, somebody had opened my goddamn door. I was too comfortable. I was rolling up some weed, just too
Right.
comfortable. And somebody opened up my door, but I had my shit on me. So I went to reach for my shit, and a nigga shot me right in the face. Shot me right in the
Wow.
face.
See that.
Boom. Shot me right in the face. Bullet came out my neck right here. You feel me? They had to cut my neck open right here to do surgery,
For
reconstruction
your
surgery
jaw.
on my whole jaw and all that type of shit. So when I seen that shit, I'm just like,
That
God
was a trigger.
damn. I'm like,
I'm
fuck
saying that was a trigger. That's a trauma. That's a trigger. When you see some shit like that pop off, I can imagine that would take you back into that situation.
Yeah. On top of
Because
that, I done.
when I got cut, right, I got a cut right here, right.
Mm-hmm.
But if I watch something online where somebody get hit with like a machete or a razor, my scar starts to tingle sometimes. You know, it's a trigger.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're you can't even show certain videos on Instagram. Like if a white person get knocked out, there's knockout videos of white folk. There's all of these Karen videos where they getting stomped out and beat up and whatnot. They take those, they give you strikes on your channel, they take them down. They don't let those videos move around. Hold on, Tyran, you back? Let me see if the God is with us. You here, King? Okay, he probably still getting it together when his thing pop up. And I'm like, you know, that's crazy. I heard the story, and then I heard another story to correct the initial story that he didn't get killed because of the Nipsey Hussle thing.
Yeah, no. You like I've been LA. I got strong LA ties, and I know people from Inglewood, actually
Right.
his neighborhood. And no, that was just on some fluke shit, just on some, it was on some gang banging shit, but
It
that
was on
has
gang, yeah.
nothing to do with, you
Right,
know,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely for a fact.
right, you know, it's just crazy, you know, it's not healthy, you know, just to see people's lives getting taken like that so freely. You know, rising power to that young brother and his memory and his spirit. You know, hopefully his spirit is not going to be trapped in cyberspace. You know what I mean? And by people witnessing something that should be sacred. You know, when you take your last breath, it should not be a million people around you looking at you when you take your last breath. That's not right. I don't care. No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I don't know how anybody could try to justify that shit. But then it's like, what do you say if somebody is on live? You know what I mean? You don't go on live thinking that you're gonna get Peter rolled.
Yeah. And then it
So
was crazy the conversation that he was having right before the shit, how he was telling his boy, like, you know, so it was just like, that was kind of crazy too. He telling his boy, like, damn, nigga, you ain't got shit or something, like, what you gonna do if they come? So it's like, God damn, like, you
right,
literally talking about this shit, then you just get shot up. So like, that was crazy too. Like, he wasn't just talking about his day or something. Like he was actually talking to his boy about like,
about the
damn, nigga,
drill.
you ain't got no gun on you or some shit he was saying. Like, so that was another thing. It's like, God damn, boy, like what the.
And then, like, yeah, because I don't want to put it out there. I would hate for the people to be like, damn, you know, that's crazy. Black men are, and I'm like, no, that's not what all black men are talking about. Let's be clear. You know, all of us are not in a fucking gang.
Yeah, definitely.
You understand? Not. So for everybody that's trying to live vicariously through gang culture, like that shit is a video game, there's real life consequences, right? I'm not trying to hit it. I ain't trying to hop on here and sound all sacrilegious and everything, but nah, nigga, it's other shit that you could be putting your energy towards. There's other things that some of these DJs could be, you know, because a lot of that gang culture, they got co-signers. You know what I mean? They got cheerleaders. And it's
turn this shit around.
usually the same
This
people.
this what gang culture leads you.
Right.
All these is them two is out. Can you see that?
Right. I see the whole. I see the pantheon.
Them two is dead right there.
Right.
All these is dead. This what gang culture gets you.
This
not all. All these niggas is dead.
Right.
These niggas is dead. These niggas is dead. I'm with all these niggas. This my cousin.
Right.
These niggas is dead. These niggas is dead.
Damn.
You hear me? These niggas is dead. These two niggas is dead. All these niggas is
got
dead.
A whole altar. Yeah.
This nigga is dead. This nigga is dead. Got killed. Right. Come on.
So
I better get real.
Think about it, right?
This shit ain't no motherfucking game.
And me and Blue was having this conversation the other day. Tyrain, I'm gonna bring you in right now. You better now, King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back in the game. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was just saying, like that whole thing, it feel like, you know, like snuff videos, like, and I ain't feeling it. But I think one of the things we could do is we got to have some type of rites of passage for our young men, because, you know, they warriors out here and they got that warrior spirit. So we need something to cultivate that. You feel me? And that's one of the
first and
solutions. That's what I strive to do.
Yes. I want to say condolences, brother Allah, you know.
And
oh, my bad. You finished, Tyrain? I didn't know you was. I thought you was finished talking. Okay. So yeah, the brother Allah, I want to say condolences, because you know that was very sacred right there, that war of loved ones. You know what I mean? And you know, I would pose the question, right? Because me and Blue was having this conversation, and I was like, you know, like to know, to see how much of a loss that we're taking as a people. I don't always like to use celebrities and whatnot, but you know, sometimes you got to use celebrities as a point of measurement so people can understand who we're losing and what we're losing. So Pop Smoke is a perfect example, right? The loss of him out of New York, right? The fact that he got taken while his star was rising and whatnot, that loss could be felt, right? The city is dead now. The shit was vibrant. It was electrified. It was, you know, people was, you know, it was just a different energy. After he died, it kind of went to the waist, to the side, for other people to try to feast off of it. But even what they're doing is not the original energy. You go to places like LA when Nipsey got taken, right? So you know the impact that a person has based off of when they get removed from the scene, because you could feel the vacuum. You like, nah, this shit is not the same without Nip, bro. I don't know what you niggas talking about. Because if Nipsey Hussle was alive during the pandemic lockdown, he would have been telling people about CMOS. He would have been educating people. He would have been putting out book lists. He would have got on the crypto wave. More people would have had Bitcoin. They would have been listening to him. He would have been bigger than EYL. He probably would have had his own type of platform like that, giving people business advice. He would have been super viral. He would have came into his starhood, you know, without being killed. And he would have been putting out new music. So you could put situations like that and be like, if that's the case with just artists, imagine all of those brothers on your wall, what they had to contribute to the world, who they were becoming.
And
Because this is something I wanted to point out too. I'll be listening to Kwame Brown, right? And I've made this observation before, but it was just funny just sitting back over the few days watching a lot of different people call in. Everybody been to fucking jail, right? There's always somebody to come on and be like, yeah, I did 16 in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gave them niggas 20 and I'm back and I'm here to help the hood. You know what I mean? And it's like, we can't necessarily take a snapshot of who we are and our potential. Somebody got to mute the background. Let me go ahead and I gotta mute your background until I open up the floor. But we don't know our true potential or our true potentiality. You can't look at your gang of 13-year-olds, or you can't look at the group of 18-year-olds coming up, even if they're rapping and they're rapping about gang banging and they rapping about the streets. That's their teenager years. Like Tyrone said, we don't have a rites of passage. The rites of passage that we have right now is you niggas gonna get jumped into the gang. That's the rites of passage that we've been giving our youth right now. You know, what gang, you know, what kind of clout can you get on the internet? There's no real rites of passage to where you could say, yo, we sending you down to the country where homie just called in the Carolinas and near Wilmington. We're gonna send you out there for 2 weeks and you're doing intense training. We're gonna take you to the fucking woods where the Gullah and the Geechee is, and we're gonna leave you out there. And you got to bring us back the head of a boar or a boar's head or whatever it is, whatever it may be. There has to be some type of manhood training, some type of manhood rearing. Because if not, VH1, Nickelodeon, every single company that went rainbow in June, they don't have no problem raising your children. You feel me? They don't have no problem raising your little ones, but they're not going to raise no black man to be no goddamn warrior in America. That's not the agenda. You know what I'm talking about? So when people be like, oh, is there agenda? I'm saying, if they look, to show you that there is an agenda, I'm going to show you that there's not an agenda to raise these niggas as warriors.
To this day.
That's not the agenda.
To this day.
So we could just use the art of subtraction. They're not raising no black man to be a shooter, to be tougher. They're not raising him to do conflict resolution in a healthy way. They're not raising no black men to be not fearful. They're raising their children to be hunters, though. They're raising their children to skin bears alive and whatnot. They're raising their children to survive off of the land. They're raising their children to play chess and to see this shit like chess moves. We're not raising ours like that. That's not openly discussed. Niggas, the mothers are scared to say it in the open, and I understand why. The fathers is too ashamed, you know what I mean, to put it out there. Yeah, I'm teaching my son how to bust the AR-15 and shoot shit right between the eyes. So I'm gonna open up the line again. Yeah. It was just a little noisy. Tyrone,
yeah, that's not my background. My background is silent. But yeah, but like you said, that a lot of people, they have so much potential, and a lot of them, the ones that's on that wall, they die real young, 17, 18, 19 years old. And a lot of them died before the Chicago drill scene. I'm from Oakland. A lot of them died in 06. It's like, it was crazy because like when the problems in my neighborhood started, it started like 06. And once they started, it was a domino effect. You see all that shit. Like it was a domino effect. Once it started, it didn't stop. And
is that Mozzie shit? Huh? I'm not trying to, you know, get into y'all hood politics, but does that have anything to do with the Mozzie beef?
No, but I fuck with Mozzie though, like through music and through mutual people though. But Mozzie is from Sacramento.
From Sacktown, right,
Yeah, he from an hour away.
right.
Yeah, but
You know,
yeah,
so it's like you don't know the potential of an 18-year-old. Like a lot of the brothers that I learned from when I was in the streets that enlightened me and whatnot. Your mic is unmuted, Tyrone. The people who was enlightening me and my brother and whatnot, you know, a lot of them had shady past and whatnot. I'm talking about master teachers. Dr. Sabi will let you know that he started getting busy at 40. He was knocking banks off and doing other shit prior to that. He was in the Nation of Islam. He was a merchant seaman. He was living multiple lives. He did not find his purpose until he was almost blind and impotent, my niggas. So if Detroit Red was able to quote unquote become Malcolm X, right? He didn't do that at 18. You have to allow some of our people to live out their whole purpose, to live out their hero's journey. Whatever the shit is programmed into them. Some of us have been we get locked up. We're in purgatory. We have not figured out our purpose yet. We don't know who the fuck we are. We're still searching. Some of the brothers don't got fathers. So the shit that they would have learned at 10 and 12 and 11, they're learning it at 31, 32. Some brothers need to have children in order to want to live because a lot of our people are suicidal. They talk about black people ain't suicidal. Lies, my nigga. You probably never been in a gang before. How the fuck you ain't been locked up, but you to say that we not suicidal? We just not gonna fall on the sword. But when you see these little niggas out here drilling and whatnot, shooting in front of police, you know, busting, just doing crazy shit, they're letting you know I do not value my life. So why do you think I will value yours? I'm that hateful. I'm that suicidal, my nigga, that I'm homicidal. But there's a bunch of homicidal, suicidal people out here. And I know people who just kept killing until they got stopped. They just wouldn't, they wouldn't put the gun on themselves. They was like, yo, I'm gonna inflict pain until somebody slows me down. And then niggas get sat down for 20 to 30 years, and then they come home different, or they come home the same, or they never come home. How about that?
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. And this wall is filled up, and the same amount of people that's on that wall, I got that's in jail that's doing life for sure.
Right.
For sure. So that's definitely that's the cycle.
Right.
And
You know what I mean? Tyrone, you want to add on?
Too.
Tyrone. Oh man, they got my guy frozen.
Yeah,
Like Disney. He'll be back though.
Yeah, but
be back.
Get it together though, for sure. We definitely have to get it together for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. But I just wanted to tap in with you though.
You know.
All right, peace, God.
All right, King. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Salute.
For sure.
All right. Yeah, so we got more. Let me drop the link again. We got room for the family to come true. All right. But yeah, you know, this is not gonna get solved in one show. This is not gonna get solved in one conversation or one cipher. It is a very intricate problem that we have. You know, we have a heavy decision to make. Do we want to be cool forever? Or do we want to get on some uncool shit? You're gonna almost have to be uncool. You're almost gonna have to be a square, my nigga. You're almost gonna have to go against the grain to stop this shit. You're not gonna be able to be cool and solve this shit at the same time. You feel me? you're gonna have to square up a little bit. And I don't know if Negroes is comfortable enough to do shit like that because ego is so entrenched in this culture. Everybody that remember what is the underlying thing behind the attention economy, the cloud economy, and all of that is to be a cool nigga. Yeah, everybody want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be cool. And they want to be with the cool kids and whatnot. So to talk against the drill or to talk against the culture or to talk against the fact that we out here doing ourselves a disservice, that shit is not cool. Because we supposed to be impressing 13-year-olds and little pubescent niggas. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm a parent first. You know? And it's not even the 13-year-olds. It's the 31 and the 50-year-olds. They still, you know what I mean? They still on one. They still want to be baby thugs and whatnot until somebody who's European kills one of our owns. Now these niggas is Jesse Jackson. You know what I'm talking about? Now these niggas turn into Jesse Jackson and whatnot. And, you know, they're peacemakers. And it's a crock of shit. You know? It be a crock of shit, bro. But we got time. So I wrote this in 2013. This was the day of the verdict, right? The day that they handed down the acquittal of George Zimmerman. I said, I wrote this Thursday. This case is a psyop. Ask anyone who's been in the armed services or intelligence. Due to emotional investment, they have captured the hearts and minds of our people. Comfort the mothers, the maternal force, they are being directly affected. Astrologically, we are in Mercury retrograde and Saturn's in Scorpio. Darkness is descending, right? I said, isn't it ironic that Zimmerman is a Spanish Jew? The same tribe that usurped the Moors and got filthy rich off the spoils of war and rewarded by the Catholic Church for their loyalty to the cross. Remember, they double-crossed us in the Iberian Peninsula. They double-crossed us in the war against the quote-unquote Catholics or the Christendom, right? It was the Spanish Jews that crossed us. This trial is not about his guilt, more so the new rules behind killing the Morisco, aka the Little Moor, the son of a Mason, Trayvon Martin Luther King. This is a grand ritual, family. The women will be affected the most. It's maternal. They instinctively know their own sons are on trial and the Crusades is coming home. Today is 7/11, due to knowledge. And I wrote that on July 11, 2013, right? I wrote that on July 11th, 2013, because I saw this shit on it. I saw it coming. I could forecast that this was a crusade that they were initiating. What do we get after that? We got Michael Brown, right? And Ferguson. Listen to the last names. These are colorable names because all of these, I call it the Crayon Wars. Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, right? All of these different, there was a white in there somewhere too. All of these different people, Alton Sterling, right? All of these people were getting killed after this trial, and it has been affecting our people ever since then. And we're spiraling out of control because we don't got no get back. We don't have no guilty verdicts. We don't really have any justice, my niggas. Not based off. You got to sit through hours and hours and hours of psychological trauma through the media, the front page stories, them showing the bodies and whatnot. All of that shit takes a toll only for you niggas to get a conviction, a misdemeanor or a little felony conviction. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? So I'm just pointing out shit that I peeped. But I'm going to go to the callers because we have some people in the building. All right. I want to bring on my first guest. We're going to balance the energy with some divine feminine energy. Shout out to Mrs. Poetic Just. Peace.
What's up? Love? How you doing?
How you doing?
Thank
Peace.
you.
How you
Thank
doing?
you.
Hold on. The sound effects is getting stuck. How's everything?
Everything is good. Everything is good. I just really wanted to piggyback off of the things that you and the
Veggie back. What? Hold on. We veggie back.
brothers
Camel back or veggie back? I don't know.
that you and the brothers was just talking about. You know, with this drill situation, all of the young culture, generations, and what they're going through, and it is kind of hard to kind of balance it out.
Right.
I'm just making a statement with what I'm noticing is that of not having the big mamas. You know what I'm saying? We don't
Right.
have some of the. Not saying that there's no grannies and grandpas out here, but we as the years have gone on, we losing our elders, and it's
Right.
we us not having them in the household. I think that that's what's causing a lot of some of it of what's going on. Just
I
just
agree.
just to be like on your show, to hear someone like you speak, you and your brother KTL, y'all are helping out a lot, like with giving so much, because we don't have this no more. So I don't know what to call it, like halak circles or circles where people come together. We hear the old, we hear our elders speaking game to us and talking
Right.
to us. We don't have
Right.
it no more hardly.
I agree.
So yes, and it's just the division of just mentioned Dr. Francis West Chris Wilson. She
The
talks
legend.
about having vision. It's like we have to have this we gotta think. We getting distracted by so much stuff that it's hard for us to really see what, because honestly, these elders are very, I mean, the youngins, they are intelligent. They are intelligent.
Super intelligent.
Yes. And I just think they're missing just having the vision, and so they're going off of all of this gang culture and all of that stuff that they don't have it. They don't have that example anymore of that goodness,
Right.
that greatness of how we should, how it should be.
Right. Because I remember, shoot, back in the days, before you even called yourself joining a gang, you would have to weigh out what that ass kicking from your grandparents was gonna be like.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about the gang. I don't know just yet because Granny finna find out and she's not gonna be too happy. Like the
Exactly.
movie Minister Society. Remember, they played that out. He was staying with the grandparents,
Yep.
right? And it showed how, the way that they wrote that movie, and I broke that down in a lecture that we did, NWA Decoded. It was that they wrote that movie was written. That would be the catalyst. John Single, what was that? The Hughes brothers, the twins, Minister
Okay.
Society, more so than Boys in the Hood. That movie right there, the way that they wrote that movie, the shit it's a spell. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
So it highlighted the dysfunctional father and the mother who were drug addicts, right? Father was in the streets, he was banging and whatnot, he was tied up. And then the grandparents were raising the babies, but the grandparents were not fast enough to keep up with the culture. The culture
Yes.
grabbed Kane out of the motherfucking house right after graduation and took hold of his ass and molded him until he died.
Yep.
So yeah. We definitely have to, we have to address that, which you brought up. I don't know the solution to it, but we do have to have those conversations about who's willing to be the new elders in the tribe or the community, who's going to be responsible and not be compromised.
Yep.
Like who could really stay, who could act old and stay that way? Because if the elders is listening to NBA Youngboy, you're not really an elder to the 13-year-olds.
Yes. I said this a long time ago. I had this little statement that I used to say where it's like, where the grannies at, like, and no disrespect, because this grandmothers and grandparents still out here, but I was just like, where the grannies at? They too busy trying to be like the mamas. And where the mamas at? They too busy out here trying to bust it open wide like the youngins, which they shouldn't be doing either. It's like you can't even really tell who the grannies and who the
Yeah, I heard it's a hot granny summer. That's what I heard. According to my feed on the gram, it's a hot granny summer.
Yes. So it definitely was just getting back to that, man, with us being, listening. The youngins, they don't want to listen. Some of them, not all, because they smart,
right.
but they don't know what it's like to be You better come in the house before them street lights come on. Whatever you know
Oh,
what I'm saying. Don't you whatever your grandparents tell you what you better do. Even your parents, you know what I'm saying. It's just like
yeah,
they not
them.
listening.
Yeah,
And
that shit is
I
done
think
with.
a lot has to do with also with the culture that it is that because let's keep it funky. A lot of stuff has been lied to us with certain things, and
Oh,
so
for sure.
you got the youngins that's like, we ain't trying to hear that. We ain't falling for that no more. We finna do us. Like,
Right.
and yeah,
They're fighting against that.
yep.
They're
And
fighting
it just
against that.
needs
Let
to
me
be
bring if you
balanced.
don't you do you mind me bringing other guests in with you?
No problem. No
I
problem.
want you to hold on with us. I want to because
Okay.
I we gotta have that divine balance.
Yes.
Let me bring my brother Amadeus in geometry.
What up?
Peace, y'all. Peace, peace. What's good?
Love you
Much
some
peace,
light.
much grace. Peace to everybody. Blessings from
Indeed.
Australia, boy.
Were you tapping in from Amadeus?
I'm in Australia, bro. Can you
Okay,
hear?
Australia. Interesting. That's what's
Repping
up.
that Fiji all the way from Australia, bro.
That's right. What about you, my brother Geometry? I can't hear you. Hold on, let me see. Is your phone? Yeah. See if your mic is muted. Say something. Okay.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How's everything going on in Australia, my good brother? What's that about?
Uh, I mean, it is what it is. I think we're facing the same similar situations worldwide. You know, like the experience for the American melanated, the European melanated, and the Australian melanated, Pacific Island melanated. Like, it's a different experience, absolutely, because you know the premise of the power holders and stuff, but
Right,
similar in the way we're all being held down, we're being oppressed, we have huge power, we have great culture, history, lineage, we all connected in that same way. We need to realize these things and get back to that platform, but it is, you know, easier said than done. It's easy to point the
right,
blame, especially in this time of all this technology and distractions and things like that.
right.
I mean,
Well,
great
with the
pointers, like your sister was
technology,
just saying before. Where's your grandmother?
right. What my thing is with technology now connecting us in ways that we haven't been connected before, like you could live in Australia, but you could basically tap in to the goings ons in real time of what's going on in New York, Cali, Georgia and stuff like that. How does that feel? All the way being all the way in Australia and being able to kind of have your hand on the pulse of what's going on in our hoods.
I mean, that's obviously a great thing. Uh, I take it as something, you know, amazingly great because it's opened my mind to a lot, really.
Right,
You know, to be able to see the similarities, one, uh, things of the past, two. You know, just the similarities in culture, the way the language, even, you know, the same words, similar things, the food, the dress. Um, but then in that same paradigm, I guess it opens up, you know, the ability to be there and now, but we can't fathom the actual experience that, you know, the trauma that's going through,
right,
and it could be a gateway for other, you know, for that, uh, what's the word, like an entity or a polluted spirit to come through, and
right,
then, you know, you start acting in a way which is not righteous.
right, right. So it has its pros and its cons, you're
But
saying.
oh, most definitely, man, most definitely.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, somebody
I was
want to
saying
know
that.
how is that mouse play going over there in Australia. I seen the mice was out there going heavy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're on the farms. They're not like it's not around the city or nothing. You're not gonna.
Right.
I mean, if you're in the big city, Sydney or something,
Is
but
that's indigenous
it's
land where the
going.
mice is
That's
at? Is that indigenous
no,
land?
no, no way.
Okay.
No, Like, I mean, because basically, what the history of what's going on here, this whole place is indigenous land to me, right?
That's right.
Now, the you know what they've got the reservations and things, so they've and there's a culture up in the Northern Territory where they've been able to keep the original traditions that they've had, but
Right.
so all these farmers are taking the coastal lands and the where all the rivers run, and it's very fertile and things like that. So this is where all the mouse plague is happening.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look,
Right,
I've seen. I haven't been to Australia, but from what I saw, it was beautiful. I mean, breathtakingly gorgeous. So
mm,
salute to the mouse plague.
right.
It's interesting. Uh, I appreciate you though, bro. Keep tapping in. You know what I mean? Do you have a platform you want to share with the fam?
No, not really, man. We're good. You know, just everybody get out there, use your mind, link with like-minded people, listen to
Right.
yourself, be the best you can be. Follow this brother, Know the Ledge, KT Aliens Worldwide, man. Much appreciation for all your music. It's dope, man. I listen to that all day. Been listening since Scorpion King.
Oh,
Yeah,
legend.
yeah, man.
That's what's up.
So just everybody just stay true to yourself, man, and like try and take a step back to nature and listen to your parents. Try and find out what your grandparents are about, and then create a beautiful seed. That's all. Much peace to everybody, bro. Keep up.
Out, my brother. Salute. Peace. All right. Let's see. We have Ross here. Is this piece of the brother Ross? Is this Ross Ben by any chance? Let me unmute the man's mic then. Okay. We have to bring Ross back. 203 Night Vision. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, Red? Peace, God. Um, I got a
Peace, peace.
question for you, and I have a solution. I want to articulate as much to you as fast as I can, so you can get on to whoever else. But do you know why the nose on the Sphinx is broke, and why a lot of the noses and the left arms on the artifacts from Kemet are broke?
They were shot off, according to my research.
It was broke off, but the reason why is because it's a spiritual war, and they believe that these statues were alive and spirits and souls were inside these artifacts. So
Right.
in order to kill
Your thing is breaking up, King. Your reception is getting a little
okay, I can't.
choppy. Your
I'm sorry
reception.
about that.
There you go.
So they broke off the left arm so the spirits couldn't receive offerings. So I
Mm,
believe with that being said, with the talk about the statue being took down here in America, the same thing should be done to those statues. We need a spiritual war against our oppressors. Um, and I just wanted to ask you: is there any spiritual warfare that you think we can do? Because obviously we try to break our spirits, and if we're walking around with broken spirits and we don't even know it, it's hard to
right.
come up with anything that you think that we can do in the spiritual realm warfare
Well,
to even out the plan.
in the same light of just highlighting certain type of artifacts that are, that have been consecrated and then desecrated as a result, my mind would tell me that we need to begin to consecrate new statues, because the art of statue making is not necessarily an ancient art. Like that's something that we got 3D printing machines. They consecrated a statue of 21 Savage at the Brooklyn Museum. You know what I'm talking about? They
Yes.
made him a statue along with a few other rappers. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just highlighting and pointing out that if 21 Savage got his own statue, god damn it, why doesn't Dr. Sabi? You know what I mean? Or why
Right.
doesn't some of our
Right.
spiritual leaders? And then that would, to see a statue of somebody that we revere, what would that do to a broken spirit? That would help repair the broken spirit, because sometimes our spirits will be lifted when we see the sacred geometry, the sacred artwork, and things of that nature. Imagine when they unveil a statue and it has one of your heroes, you know, like what they did for the Confederates. The fact that they have those Confederate statues sitting in the county squares and whatnot of these towns, that emboldens and invigorates the spirit of the white, quote unquote, supremacists or the white inferiority complex. You know, it bolsters them, it gives them a boost. So yeah.
Yes, I agree. But no, it wasn't shut off by Napoleon. Napoleon might have broke it, but they took iron to the nose of the Sphinx to break it. They wasn't that brave to actually believe the people that were actually thinking that the Sphinx was alive.
Right.
But thank you for your time, and
Thank you.
I agree with you.
All right, my brother. Peace. All right. The brother Ross, if we have if he wants to unmute his mic, I'll bring you in. Brother Ross. I know that you have your mic muted, so I don't know if you wanted to come through or not, but I'm gonna drop the link one more time for anybody just getting in here. The link is in the chat right there. It's a live link, so you could go ahead and click that. But yeah, you know, yeah, somebody said Leila Africa. I mean, there's a whole pantheon. I heard Tariq Nasheed talking about a black museum. You know, that's a great idea. I've shared that idea on this platform over the years. So it's just interesting that the brother is sharing the same type of ideas with his audience and his network. But that's a must. Like that has to happen. We have to consecrate statues and institutions that bear the names of our master teachers and the great ones. There's no reason why we don't have that. I promise you. There's no reason why we don't have that. So yeah, that needs to happen ASAP. ASAPington. For real, for real. You know? We gotta have that. Definitely. You know. Then the babies is like, oh, who is that person? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Pull out your phone. Let's scan the QR code, and it'll take you to their whole breakdown, clips of their lectures, you know, books that you could get from them on either their own website, products, merch, all of these things. You know, all of these things. You don't have to be on cam. You could show your wall. Yes, you could show your wall, or you could just speak audio, like how this right here is. You see the brother don't got his camera on. He just got the audio. You could do that. Uh Peace, my brother.
What's up, Red?
You? What's good with you, my bro?
I think my nervous energy fucked up the whole.
It's all good. I look, I remember the first time somebody was like, yo, we gonna bring you on the show, Ray. We'll let you talk. I was like, oh my goodness. And this was the radio. This wasn't even live. I was like, oh shit, give me a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was crazy nervous energy. But when I got off, I was like, I breathed a sigh of relief. And from that point on, there was a rush in my veins, and I was like, I need that again. You know?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to be nervous because once you push through your nervousness, my nigga,
Mhm.
chances are there could be a pot of gold on the other side of that. I promise you. It's the things that we nervous about. That's where the lick is. That's what the movies show you when they scared of the dark. That's what the hero's journey is about. A lot of these like Lord of the Ring movies, a lot of these movies like Star Wars, where Luke was afraid of the Force and he had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations, but that's where he found his power. There's been comedians like Dick Gregory. I just saw his documentary. This was the coolest dude on stage that you can ever see. I mean, old Dick Gregory is a super legend, but young Dick Gregory, they don't show us young Dick Gregory. Young Dick Gregory was a G, my nigga. He would smoke his cigarette and he knew when to smoke, he knew when to pull it, and he knew when to blow out the smoke. He was just mad smooth and he was cooking white folk in front of them like how Paul Mooney used to do.
Yeah.
But people don't know that he was up there nervous as hell because remember, he was in his bag when you couldn't even walk through the front of a goddamn hotel as a black person. You had to go through the side, my nigga.
Mm.
He was in a whole auditorium with white folk that probably was out there lynching niggas as a you know, on their free time, and he's on stage giving them satire about them. He's holding up the mirror, got them looking at themselves. You don't think he was nervous?
That's deep.
He was scared to death.
That's what made me
But
come back because I had to face my fear. I'm like, damn, was I
glad you
nervous? My
did.
nervous energy. Let me come back. Like, yeah.
That's
But
what's up. I'm glad you did, man.
so Buddy was talking about spiritual warfare, right?
Right,
And I've been doing some writing on occult warfare because I come from the streets.
right.
I don't live in a big city, but it's big enough, right?
Where you at?
In Knoxville, Tennessee.
I know about Knoxville.
So one thing that I realized when it comes to warfare, once you get physical in warfare in 2021, you lost the war. Everything is mental. It's all psychological and spiritual. You
I
can't do
wanted to,
anything.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. I wanted to add one thing. If my memory serves me correct, is Andrew Jackson from Knoxville, Tennessee? Uh, if it's not Andrew Jackson, it's somebody that's real big in the history of the Indian removal and things like that coming up out of Knoxville. You know, back I'm talking the
Um,
1800s,
I
1700s.
believe I believe you're talking about Andrew Johnson, but he's from Greenville, and Albert Pike, he was around here also. So it's a lot
Okay,
of around this area, yeah.
right,
It's a
right,
lot of
right.
that going on.
Yes. But yeah, talk about that mental game that you had just tapped into. My bad.
Well, I had to go in the streets. You're gonna have to go through some like your hero's journey. You're gonna have to go through some type of battle, right?
Right,
So when I was going through my war, right? So I went through war with a guy in my neighborhood, supposed
right,
to be supposed to be the top dog in the neighborhood, right?
right,
I had got into it with one of his cousins. I didn't know it was his cousins at the time, but they had broke into my house, and I needed to see blood, right?
right,
So that started a whole big war in my neighborhood.
right,
Well, that whole thing was a catalyst to my awakening, right?
right,
So on that journey, it led me to meeting Azra Kwesi. That was like my first awakening. That was my first person who, you know, broke the veil, because I was a Christian or I was in the
right, right.
Bible. Then I met Azra Kwesi. So I'm like 21, 22 at the time. So
That's who
that like
did it for my
boom.
brother Blue. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but it was an Ashra Kwesi tape, a VHS tape that broke him out of his spell. But go ahead.
So, that led me to substituting Haru for, the Messiah or whatever. So,
Right.
at this time, hawks are coming to me, like, red tail hawks. I'm seeing them everywhere. I'm in the midst of war,
Right.
and also while I'm in the midst of war in the streets, I'm in the midst of war in the courtroom,
Okay.
So it's like, damn, I have a baby on the way. So it's like, it's just turning me into a diamond. You get what I mean? It's like
Right.
pressure from every angle. It's like, I got to make this happen.
Right. You had
So
no choice at that point.
I didn't have a choice,
Right.
and on a part on that journey, I'm gonna just um concise it. I met a scorpion. And a scorpion, I used to, because I had to do like a little 90-day stint behind it. And I met a
Sure did.
scorpion,
Right.
and I used to ask people like, what was the word of the day? Because I was always seeking knowledge, And I'm in there, I'm the youngest one in there with the most commissary, I'm just doing me. So I used to ask, what was the word of the day? And he hit me with 3 words, it was esoteric, sagacity, and occult. So those 3 words just sent me even further down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So, when speaking of spiritual warfare and to bring it back to all of that, everything in this new paradigm is mental. You really can't, anytime you get physical, you lost the battle, period.
Right.
Whether that's with,
That's the last. That is the last option. And that was told to me too. When they get physical, you already lost.
Mhm.
You're supposed to be able to checkmate them before you put hands on them.
So what was your catalyst? What brought your awakening up on?
9/11. 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of pushed me over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it put me, it just at that point it was almost like, my ass was to the fire because there was no turning back after that. Once I saw what they were able to do and what they were willing to do and how far they were willing to take it,
Mm-hmm.
it was on from that point. You know what I mean? And I was already on some outlaw shit. You know what I mean? I was already living I was already flirting with death, I would say, because I was kind of like living on the edge,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but living on the edge just had a lot to do with not knowing what the fuck I was here for and just being like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I make it or if I break. I was almost like get rich or die trying. Like, I'm going to get it by any means. You know what I mean? Like, by any means. But after 9/11 and watching the being in touch, being in touch with occult esoteric information, because it was Dr. Phil Valentine's lecture, and then I got introduced to Bobby Hemmett because I was on David Icke, and the white people at first, they was not giving me purpose. They were giving me information, and they were giving me stuff that I could regurgitate and whatnot. They were putting me more in a fear place, a fear paradigm, if I could really paint that picture. David Icke and them was putting me in a fear paradigm. All of this Illuminati talk. I would stop watching the tape. I would finish the tape, but I would not feel empowered.
Right.
When I saw Phil Valentine's tape, I was like, I'm the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I walked
Yeah.
away from that like I'm lit. You know what I mean? I can't
Yeah.
wait for the next time I listen to him because he's filling me up.
Right.
And I wanted to, after being exposed to them, I wanted to be a part of that in some way. I didn't know what way, because even Dr. Sabi was around. He was encouraging me and Blue to do something with ourselves. And he was like, what the fuck do y'all want to do? And like, when do you want to do it? And how do you see yourself, doing it? We was lost. We was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we could do what you doing. You know what I mean? That wasn't really something. KT was around and he saw himself, following the Sabi blueprint and being, a Sabi's baby and taking that mantle and running with it. he was already preparing himself.
Right.
Me and Blue, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say that that was the direction that we were consciously going in. You feel me? I
Right.
mean, we was on the herbs and everything, but to be a herbal teacher and to be like, you know, a healer or a helper, that
Mhm.
wasn't really the vision that I had.
So, did you have a dream that really sparked it? Like, was there a dream that you had early on, but you didn't know what it meant until like years later?
Yeah, it was a few, you know, it was a few. You know, when I was locked up, I had an ill vision. I had a dream that was like a real, it was real. It wasn't even a dream, it was a vision.
Right.
You know, I had a few of them to the point that it's even hard to remember them shits, but I know that I had them because I remember how real they was, and they kind of like gave me they gave me the foresight to see, right? I probably saw, you know, I saw the community down the line. I saw us on stages. You feel me? I saw us in front of a lot of people. You know what I mean? I just didn't know how the hell we was gonna get there.
Mm.
There wasn't no social media back then. It wasn't like you didn't know what the internet was turning into. You know what I mean?
What
Like
what year? What year was that?
this is '01. That's the 9/11.
Hmm.
My vision came in 99,
Hmm.
like on the cusp of 99 and 2000. And I had another vision around the time that my son was born, which was '07. And
Hmm.
that was the catalyst that made me take my foot from I would have one foot in one world and one foot in the other world. When my son was born, I put both feet into this world.
Mm.
Put both feet in this world. I was like, there's my purpose right there. You know what I mean? I see it now. I feel it. Uh, it's not me, it's somebody else.
Right.
Because remember, as Scorpios, you know, sometimes it's all about us. You know what I mean? We have a lot focus. We focus on us a lot. So to be able to see somebody that is not me and feel a type of love and feel a type of you know, I had this feeling like I gotta put on for this little man right here. Like this is me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it gave me purpose. So that was the purpose to solidify the other purpose, and that's what really locked me in. That's a fact. Not to mention, I was receiving the information, right? So as
Hmm.
I'm getting poured into with all of this comedic information, Moorish information, metaphysical, occult information, it's the child that made it all make sense. It's the fact that I
Exactly.
was able to duplicate myself. It was the fact that I was able to say, you know what? Now I'm gonna exist for another 100 years, and I'm looking at my future right there. That's what really made it real for me.
Do you and your brother communicate telepathically?
Yeah.
So when he learns something, do you think that you unconsciously absorb it by way of like epigenetics or something?
Yeah, because keep in mind, a lot of the things that we learn, we've already known. We're just remembering the shit that we forgot. You know what I
Right.
mean? So in inside of this, what they call junk DNA, or there's storage inside of my brain. There's basically the cachet of shit that he's learning and whatnot. But it would take me to go ahead and to go into it. You know what I mean? Either through meditation, researching, just deep diving and whatnot. I'm able to unlock that as well, and I could get online with him too.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's real. The whole twin thing is definitely real. We could share pain like that when there's been traumatic moments in our lives. Like you know where we was like, hey, I got stabbed in the neck. You know what I mean? There was an unfortunate situation, and I felt it. You know what I mean? I knew something was wrong, and he felt something was wrong with me when I had got cut. So you know, there's a connection in that sense.
Yo, the twin mythology has been, spoken of for generation after generation after
Oh yeah,
generation, the
yeah. The
pillars.
Papa Vow, huh?
Yeah, yeah, the
The Hero
pillars.
twins.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And here lately, a lot of information has come to me about the mound builders. And here in my own town, We have mounds with one of the nicest neighborhoods in my town, one of the most wealthy neighborhoods in my town, right?
Right.
There's a mound, a burial mound in it. And every
Right.
time I go here, like my energy is just on fire. I'm talking about
Right.
vultures get to swarming around me all tight, you know, it's right by a river too. So, you know, it's
Right.
just
Right. Oh
it's
no,
real.
yeah. I don't know the name of the episode. I'm sorry to cut you. There's an episode that I did in January.
Mhm,
It's either Melanin, it's a Melanin Mondays. I'm positive about that. And in that episode, I read a book to the audience,
mhm,
right? Candy, I
mhm,
see you. I'm gonna bring you in a minute, sis. And in the book, Ross Ben, our good brother who's a contributor to this channel, we brought him on a few times, and I brought his book at one
mhm,
of his lectures, and
mhm.
I read the book, and I was blown away because the book makes so much sense, and it uncovered so many things for me. And it was breaking down the mounds, but
Mhm.
the science behind the mounds and the mounds being energy centers, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And differentiating the burial mounds from the ceremonial mounds, right? Because there's
Right.
mounds that is for ceremony only, and then
Mhm.
there's burial mounds. The burial mounds were enriched with the quote unquote skeletons of our ancestors, similar to what you would see in the movie National Treasure. I think it's the first one where they went into the Trinity Church, and then they went
Mhm.
inside the church. There was all of these skeletons and whatnot. They were adorned in like Aztecian, ornaments. So in the mounds, they were excavating skeletons that were said to be 7 and 8 feet tall. They were
Right.
copper. They had copper chest plates,
Right.
copper wrist like copper bands, copper
Mhm.
armbands, copper headbands, and then
Mhm.
around them were all crystals. They were in
Mhm.
like beds of water. They were in beds of crystals, and then underneath them was water, and they were hoisted above the water, and they were laden with jewels and whatnot, and all kind of things. So when they excavated the mounds, and they were called gritters, right? So the some of the first presidents in America were gritters before they became presidents. And the gritters were the people who were land surveyors who were basically going to the mounds and excavating them. Now, when they excavated the mounds, they would take the skeletons. The Smithsonian Institute is the institute that has all of the giant skeletons, and the Smithsonian Institute is the institute that has a lot of the artifacts, but they won't tell you that, it's
Right.
not like they're gonna go to your school and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're taking skeletons and
The
we're
Smith
storing them.
the Smithsonian is like the CIA.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, the last scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, they go into this big ass warehouse that has all of these boxes and stuff like that where they put the ark at. That's the
Mhm.
Smithsonian, right? The
Mhm.
Smithsonian holds all of the artifacts from old America that was excavated and stolen and whatnot, and they hide them when, while they running around, and they build churches on top of the mounds. They build wells, and they some of the mounds they desecrated them right on Moreland Ave in Atlanta, where my family has property. Right on Moreland Ave, they turned the mound into a landfill, right?
Mhm.
Because as you said, they had the birds flying around and whatnot. They would turn the mounds into landfills, right?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
they would turn the mounds, like in Philadelphia, they put the art museum on top of the mound. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they would they would use it for their energy, or they would desecrate the energy that already existed within the said mound. That's how they get down and whatnot. So they're drawing from that energy because the mounds are strategically placed on ley lines and things of that nature,
Yeah.
and they're energy centers. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Our bones are conductors. The copper, the stones, the dirt and everything, the way that they packed it, they were building mounds that look like pyramids. That's how big they were.
Exactly.
So I
Mhm.
would say if you could go back to the mound, get you some stones, right? Get you some
Mhm.
amethyst or some quartz and whatnot. And if you
Mhm.
could make it to the top of the mound, do your meditation. It would be better when it was a day where this cosmically aligned, like a new moon
Exactly.
or super.
That's what I'm about to tell you, right? So I've been to the ones in Georgia. I've been to the ones around here. I've been to several mounds, right? Because they just called me. So
Right.
my segue. One time, right, you know, I'm really in tune with animal and natures. So there was a dead cat. It had freshly died, right, in the middle of the road, and I'm driving. So I pull over, you know, to get it out the road. You know, it had just now died, and the energy from the cat took, like, the energy just seeped into my hand, and it stayed there for like hours, like this just vibrating warm energy. I never felt anything. Like I could see, you know, in dark magic, I could see why people sacrifice things, because the energy I felt from that cat was crazy.
Right.
So my birthday is December the 29th, right? And last year it was on a conjunction with, you know, Saturn and Jupiter, you know, the grand conjunction.
The
Everybody
grand
was all happy
conjunction.
about. Oh, it's the conjunction. No, you know, like everybody was happy
They got their
about.
superpowers.
Exactly. So I went down to the Etowah Mounds, right?
Etowah,
And and I took my shoes off on the biggest mound, right?
Right.
And I noticed that there was something like an energy seeping through here, like a warm energy in certain spots. So I went and stood on a certain spot, and the energy that I felt like from that cat literally came up through my feet, and it was just like crazy. Like I never felt anything like that to this day, and I can feel it going through my feet just thinking about it right now.
I'm gonna share some with you, and I'm gonna share this with the family, and for the other family that's waiting me to open up the line, I got you 1 minute. It was the Etowah Mounds and it was Serpent Mounds that basically got me and my brother, that opened us up more. If that could explain things. It opened up my spirit. Shout out to the ghetto shaman, my brother KB. He put us on the Etowah. He took us out to Etowah, and we began to do rituals on the mounds there, right? Energy centers, right? Like you said, it would be hot in certain places on top of the mounds. We would dig the mounds, and I would bury all of my stones in there. That's when I started collecting crystals and whatnot. We was burying them. I'm talking about burning sage, burning sandalwood, smoking trees, reciting poetry, you know, because the mounds are lined up to the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper and whatnot. And it was surreal. And then Serpent Mound in Ohio, bruh. And that's where I learned about the Smithsonian, because they let us into the gift shop. And when we went into the gift shop, there were these books that were written. Right. And these books are not on Amazon. These books are not available to the quote unquote public and whatnot. Right.
Let me see.
And inside of the quote unquote book, right. Inside of the book place, we were able to buy, I think it was Ron Singleton. That was the name of the author. We was able to buy literature that spoke directly about the history of the mounds, and they was giving it the fuck up.
Exactly, and talk about, you know, the Scorpius, how that correlates with the snake mound, and you know that correlates with our soul, the soul's journey when we leave here to be prepared to go through the Milky Way and all.
Right. Sirius and everything. Our return home, bruh. Keep tapping into the mounds. I ain't telling you nothing that you already. I'm just reiterating something you already know. You're feeling that energy is calling out to you. It's a battery. It's like somebody go and charge your phone. Like you are the phone. Go and charge up on those mounds. Keep doing what you was doing until you basically until there's another mound calling you. But that's your DNA connecting with ritual spots that you probably was tapping into in other lifetimes.
Exactly.
You feel me? Because you're in Tennessee, you're on ancient land. The whole land is ancient. The whole land is ceremonial. The whole land is a burial ground. Right? But I'm gonna get to these other callers though. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right. Salute.
All right. Peace.
No doubt. All right. Let's get to these callers. All right. Our next caller is Sister Candy Acid Rain. Peace, sis. How you doing? Oh, that's powerful. Right now, we're seeing the murals, the artwork. All right. Look at this beautiful artwork. This is dynamic. Look at Nipsey. You know what I'm talking about? Wow. Is that Baba Dick Gregory? That's powerful. That's powerful. Y'all see this artwork, family? Y'all need to get with the sister. I'm not 100% if this is all for sale, but tap in. You know, we gotta put some artwork on our altars and in our cribs. Yes, Octavia Butler, Afrofuturism, right? Salute to all of the Afrofuturists out there. These books need to be turned into movies. Yes, yes. I am a man. I look, he can breathe. Definitely. This is beautiful work. Wow. I didn't even see the face inside of it until just now. Lovely. Somebody said, is she on mute? Nah, she's not on mute. She's just showing her work. I love the style though. I love it. It's beautiful. Dope, dope. Sis, let them know how they could contact you. I'm sure you could contact her at that right there, Candy Acid Rain on IG. If anybody is interested in the in grabbing some of these pieces right here, please support the sister in her endeavors, her artistic work. You know what I mean? You could feel the spirit in each one of these paintings. Definitely. That's some esoteric art right there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Amazing. Yes. Thank you, Sister Candy. All right. Brother Allah said he want to grab something from you. So hit her up and let her know that you saw it on the show. All right. Peace, ancient homage. It's good, my brother. Peace, peace. Okay, I'm gonna get back to him. I think his screen might have been frozen. Miss Poetic Justice, you had dropped off earlier. You
I'm
back?
back. My phone died. You know,
Okay.
I wasn't
It's
prepared. I
all
wasn't
gravy.
prepared.
Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you.
Yes. I
Indeed.
just wanted to make a statement on what
Yeah,
the brother geometry 669 that just when you guys were just talking about the mounds.
right.
I just thought it was very interesting because I went to visit the Smithsonian's museum, and it
Oh, you
is a
did?
it's I visited about a few years ago. This was back 2011, 12, and
Okay.
it was a different. It is it's this energy feeling that I got, but that's despite that. But Jeff Bezos, this might be a Jeff Bezos just donated the biggest of all. I ain't trying to hype him up, but it
I
does
seen
matter.
it.
Yes. And so I just thought that was very interesting. And also just wanted
I
to say,
mean, yeah, it definitely is very interesting. It makes you say, you know, if
exactly.
Jeff Bezos is donating all of that money, and then he's going to Mars. They talking about this quote unquote galactic traveling and whatnot. Is he taking some artifacts outside of of the atmosphere? Is he taking it to these other quote unquote? I don't know if they're going to other planets and whatnot, but I'm sure that if he donated all of that money to the Smithsonian, there's a reason behind that.
Something is on.
I'm
Yep.
gonna dig into that a little bit more and put some
Yes.
scientists on top of that right there. But yeah,
Yep. I just had to
that's where
come
the
through and
stolen
say that.
artifacts are being stored. If
Yep.
anybody ever wanted to find out where the stuff is at, um just pay attention. If you ever
Exactly.
hear in the future any stories leaking about something at the Smithsonian, know where it's coming from. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Know
Yep.
that that's where they have been warehousing a lot of our hidden treasures. You know,
Exactly.
there's no
Yep.
mysteries in America. It's just, you know, his story and the fact that they're hiding our story
Yep.
and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. You and your brother Blue Pill. I don't want to get too deep into all of that, but what y'all was just talking about the with just becoming aware when people can tend to wake up or see this light, y'all definitely were the ones. Like I'm talking like I remember the 9/11, I was back in high school, all of these little things where
Right.
this spark just came up and
Right.
appreciate the knowledge and the things that y'all passing down. And this is what I'm saying about us needing this. And just to go a little bit deeper and further is to talk about how we can keep this alive. We're talking about solutions. We want to know what solutions and stuff are to these things. Is the youngins teaching them, and we can
Right.
write our own stories. We should be telling our own stories. We should be all of those things.
Right.
So yes, just appreciate much love, peace, and light.
Much love to you. Thank you. I appreciate you, you know.
Yes,
And I just want to share and add on to that with your solution that, you know, it's not going to be too difficult. The children need a place to gather so they can let their creativity run wild. And as adults, we just need to have those places.
yep,
I would suggest having a place that we own so nobody could be in our business. Once we
exactly.
could solidify that, you know, that there's major cities that are out here. There's Atlanta, New York, and LA, and Chicago in the Midwest. You can
Yes,
start out there and then you branch out and then you give these children the salute because the solutions are here. The
exactly.
programs are here, the apps, the
Yep,
software, all of these things are already here. It's just that we gotta communicate and coordinate and bring that
utilize.
shit together.
Yep,
Real
yep.
talk. All
Yes,
right.
definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Love, peace, and light.
All right. All right. Ancient homage. Peace, King. Salute.
What's peace, family? How you doing, Red? How you
I'm
doing,
great.
man?
I'm great. How's
Yo,
everything?
I just want to give a big shout out to you, bro. Coming into the community, you was deaf. Everything is great, man. Where I am in life right now, you a large part of that, bro. You a real large part
Oh
of that.
man, that's huge.
Just everything that you speaking on tonight, man, just resonates. Yeah, back in like 2010, 2012, up around that area to 2014, when all the killings you was talking about earlier. When all of that
Right.
started popping off is actually when I came out of my spill. I was working on the ocean down in Virginia Beach. That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I got a crazy background just with like my mom and my dad's story. You know, mom's was a hustler, but my pops got a scholarship to go off to college and play ball. So I kind of grew up on both sides because after my pops got that education or whatever, you know, he was out the hood. So you feel me? So I
That's
lived on like
interesting. That's an
on
interesting
both
story
sides of the
right
fence
there.
and got like soaked up the perspective. Yeah,
Right,
man.
right, right,
It's crazy, man. Like grew up in
right,
the house. If you feel me, you know what I'm saying. So just coming into it, you know, like growing up out there, and I came across the knowledge in like 2012. Put me on the
oh,
YouTube. First thing I did was I went to watch a Bobby Hemmett video. My sensei, when my like teacher, my OG, my mentor put me on. He said, "Go watch a Bobby Hemmett." He jumped out
right,
the
right,
window, straight out the window. Bobby Hemmett early, you know. So
right. I
with
know
that
that
being
was a super
on a
unplugged.
Sonetta platform, and then just try. Yes, sir. Well, I was tripping out because I had already had all of the stuff you was talking about earlier, like the 9/11, the esoteric, like all of the lies. I was getting all of the lies, but I wasn't finding
Right,
myself nowhere in it. So then I got Dilbert Blair, Melanin Wars, Bobby, Dr. Phil, Agewar, Quasi, and then Seti, and all of the, you know, all of the characters. But one thing I respect, bro, uh, I was, you know, a lot of those videos were older, you know? It was like
right,
shit was still happening, time was still going on. We needed the relevance of the times. And, you know, like a lot of
right,
people was coming into this knowledge. And you and Blue Y'all was there for that, man. Y'all always kept it 100 on 25th when y'all out there. It was a lot of yada yada going on, drama with the debate season that the community found itself in. Y'all
Right,
really
right.
wasn't with all of that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
Battle
just
rap.
dropped the information, and I respect that. I was able to grow. I was able to eat off of that. Now look at me. You know
Fact.
what I'm saying? I'm out here with the protection. You know what I'm saying? I'm
That's right.
jeweled up. I got my brand. My brand is called Ancient Homage. I'm representing. I'm
Okay.
putting on for the family. Uh, this is my
Oh, I
fall collection
okay.
coming out right here. We're gonna have the big Chanel patches.
You cooking. I see you. I
The big
see you,
Chanel
King.
patches coming on the hoodies this year.
Oh no.
I'm in the office. I'm in the living room. I'm
I
in the
see
living
you.
room
I
right
see
now
you
with it too. You
cooking.
feel me?
You cooking.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all check me out, ancienthomage.com. I got that fire. And it's all from the community, you know what I'm saying? Just coming here, showing up at times like this and moments like this when it's plastics being made. We in the kitchen right now. Red is cooking. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's
This is
right.
real spill right here. We getting it firsthand. And that's what the times that we find ourselves in. What just passed? What movie just came out? Judas and the Black Messiah. The whole theme of the year last year. Fear of a BlackaMoor Messiah. If you watch that movie, something don't jump inside you and let you know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like here we are right now. You know the times that we find ourselves in. The women and the children are looking at us as men. You know what I'm saying? Like yo,
Right.
like we got to be on our thing. That's why I show up for here. I show up right here because I remember when my elders was alive, the older men in my family, when they sat down and talked, niggas weren't talking about no bullshit. If you come around talking about bullshit or you come around playing, you got to get the fuck up from around the table.
Oh, they
You know what I'm
they
saying?
get you up
So
out of there real
I just,
fast.
yeah, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? The type time we on here. You know what I'm saying? And just some of the solutions that we need to get into more. I feel like buying the land, satellite communities, the
Right.
black economics in our communities, these officials that's in office, we need to get in their pockets too. It's a lot of good ones
Right.
coming up. Shout out to my man Michael J. Muhammad in Norfolk. Y'all support that man. On Ward 7 in Norfolk, Virginia. You know,
Okay.
black economics making black billionaires and millionaires. That's what tight time we on. Buying up this
You
land and creating communities for our people. We got the land. You know, we
yes.
just need to put it in overdrive and start playing. Like my man Nipsey said, lay a brick every day. You can't be
That's
wasting
right.
no time. You can't be out here playing because trust me, they not out here playing. And you know what I'm saying? I
Nah, they
got
not
6
playing at all.
bambinos I take care of, 6 babies, you feel me?
Are you
Yeah,
familiar with the
so
House of
we gotta
Consciousness?
stand on our square and hold it down.
Are you familiar
Yes,
with the
sir.
House
In
of
Norfolk, I
Consciousness in
definitely am. The
Norfolk?
house of
The one in
Yes,
Norfolk.
sir. Yes, sir. I used to get some of my first books from there. Yeah, the one in Norfolk, our Park
Right, right,
Place.
right. Yeah, they brought me
I
out
don't know if
there.
it's there no more.
Oh, word. Yeah, they
Okay.
brought me out there
Yeah, I
in
remember when they brought you out there.
2017. Yeah. Yeah, Norfolk
Yeah,
been lit. I was
yeah.
actually on the
You
phone.
heavy in the community, Red.
I heard. I'm coming back down there. I'm in conversation with a brother from Richmond that I grew up with. He wants to sponsor a lecture out there before the summer's over and whatnot. And I want to chop it up with you about that clothing line. So if you can hit me on the email. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no
give you
doubt.
the email because that shit is lit right there
I got you. No doubt.
and
Yeah,
what. But yeah,
you a
like you
goat
were
out here.
saying,
Keep
you
doing what
know,
you doing, man. We watching, bro. Definitely taking heed, man.
right? I appreciate it, man. Like to see you being creative and taking control and creating a brand, like that's the highest form of appreciation that I receive when I see people active. Like when I see the gods activated, that shit is like that's my payback right there. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's what this is about.
Bro,
Each one
it's
teach
love,
one,
bro.
being able to inspire one another. Because in order to get the land that we talking about, in order to get the resources, it's like we can't wait. Nobody's gonna give
Hmm.
us anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm not shaking no cup, not getting
That
out there. I'm
part.
not dancing for these niggas. So I'm gonna get it on my own. I'm gonna build. I'm
That
gonna get
part.
it out the mud. And if there's 10 of me out there, if 10 people think the same way, and we all get it out the mud, then we own our shit. We don't. Nobody's throwing no peanuts at us. Feel me? We don't gotta wait for nobody because niggas will have you dangling. They would
Facts.
dangle carrots in front of you to see how high you could jump in these streets. You know what I mean? Like they'll play with you out here.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Yeah,
Grown
you got
ass
to get it
men
off
and
get
women
off
will
your
play
back.
with
Be your
you.
own biggest fan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
hit me up
I
on
done
that
learned that
email.
lesson too, man. Trying to.
Yeah. It's ugly out there in these streets. You know what I mean? It's ugly, man. Like I don't put my trust in people no more. And that's not to say anything against the people, but I've been here long enough. I seen it. I seen the plays, you know what I mean? So I know what to trust and what not to trust. I'm like, trust yourself. But let's be, I like to see, I see what other platforms are attempting to do. When we decide to come together, put the ego to the side and everybody sit at the table on some big man shit, on some boss man shit, on some real shit, like fathers and
Mm-hmm.
mothers, like, and really put our money where our mouth and our
Mm-hmm.
mind is, you'll see this shit change overnight.
Mm-hmm. Big
You'll see it
facts. That
change
part.
overnight, bro.
Yeah, we all got a story to tell.
We
we,
do.
we all got a story to tell. And like you started off the show talking about, all of the shows that's getting canceled and whatnot, and what can we do to get these stories told. From the simple way of starting a brand, family, you can tell a story through a brand, write a children's book, just doing something, contribute to the community, because just off of the strength of y'all being out on 2/5 6 and 7 years ago, now
Right.
look at me now. My kids are learning these things. My kids are spoiling Christmas for other kids. You know what I'm saying? They waking them up like, who's Santa Claus? Who's that guy? So it's kind of like
Right.
it's a ripple effect that we can't even understand or fathom how much it spread. And if we the overdrive, the bigger the ripple. So it's just, man, y'all keep going hard out there, family. Red, you keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna be all right. For sure.
You already, man. You already. Hit me up. I'm gonna
Peace.
keep in touch with you. And like
All
I
right.
said, we gonna pull up with that line right there, and we're gonna let the people witness your greatness. All right. So man, keep doing your
Yeah.
thing. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. I appreciate that,
Salute.
family.
Stay safe out there in them streets and them VA streets and
Yes,
whatnot.
sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Peace to the fam. All right, we got my bro Gusto
Oh,
504. Gusto
man, what's
riding
up,
right
OG?
now. Peace, King.
Yeah, you see me. I had to run something with you, bro. I was listening to you talk to the brother Taheem, and my pops called me. My niece, she's 10 years old. She's on vacation. We live in Southern California. We're from New Orleans though, so she out there and no visiting my pops. And
Okay.
while I'm talking to you, he cut out on the line. So I'm running with pops. He talked to my niece watching my niece watching the show, and he told her, man, I hate to see all this gay stuff. My niece is 10. My niece tells him it's all right for two girls to like each other. And he's
Right.
telling her, no, that's wrong. Two girls can't procreate. This happened like literally about 20 minutes ago. I'm watching your
Right.
show.
Right.
Uh, he's like, my niece is like, two girls can, they don't have to have a baby. They can adopt. This is my 10-year-old. Mine, y'all got a 27-year-old white coworker. I'm just coming
Right.
home from work. And she got the same talking points. How we sit and watch you guys and we talk to people and try to get the bookshelf, talk about the bill on the information we get and get our own info. I
Right.
know it's the same shit. My 10-year-old niece is watching people on YouTube. She's a recluse with an iPad in her hand. Who's telling her? My niece tells my dad, and he's old school and no. So he's like,
Right. Right.
ex-tough guy type. My
Right.
niece tells my dad, you sound like you homophobic. That's the same thing my damn coworker told me a few weeks ago, just in casual
Right.
conversation.
You
So I had
see,
to
it's
explain
it's
to
the
him.
programming. It goes back to, I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but it goes back to what we were saying about agenda. The agenda is the fact that somebody is controlling the narrative. What's the narrative? There's a narrative that they are targeting the children with. There's a new lexicon talking about don't misgender me, right? So, like Blue Pill said on one of his lives, well, I'm identifying as God body. If you niggas want to keep playing pronoun games, I'm God body. Don't call me outside of my name or I'm going to report you to the forces that be. You know what I mean? Don't
Right.
mispronounce me. You know what I mean? Don't misgender me. I'm not identifying as a black man. I'm God body. If y'all want to play these games, you know what I'm talking about? Because now there's an artist called Demi Lovato. She's like, I'm not even a her, or I'm just them. Like, what the bro, I don't have enough time in my day to be remembering who's them and who's her. You're Demi fucking Lovato. You know what I mean? Until further notice. Nigga, you're not Caitlyn Jenner. You're Bruce Jenner. Stop playing with me. You Bruce with a wig on. I'm not playing these games, but they are creating an agenda to whereas they're having the younger generation, because the younger generation is different, right? They are, and we're analog, they're digital. They're Aquarian age, we're more Piscean. So they're gonna be a little more, adaptive. You know what I mean? The same way that the babies in the 60s were way different than the children of the 50s. You know what I mean? The grandparents of the 50s, they were like, that's Satan's music. That's secular. You know what I mean? You listening to James Brown, oh, that's the devil. You know what I mean? And they was just it's the same thing that we're seeing now with these newer generations, that they see things a little bit different. They're impressionable, and whoever these social engineers are, they're taking advantage of the changing of the guards, and they're pushing the agenda.
So what I'm saying, like I'm born in '84, I'm an '80s baby. We was a knuckle up. We had 30 on 30s growing up. We
Right,
come up off y'all generation, it was tough guys. We wore big clothes and shit.
right.
Guys after us start wearing small clothes and they start slinging on it. They'll shoot you in some skinny ass jeans. So what I'm saying now, all my partners, everybody, a lot of us, our daddies had 10, 15-year crack runs if they ever shook back. All of us, we at home with our kids. We taking care of our kids, and we not at home with them. Niggas just fathers. It
Right,
takes that to bad this shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, like this, like iPad, my little sister out here, single mom, trying to make a better way for, so showing her grind. But the iPad all day, the kind of entertainment, bro. Man, this shit kind of it fucked me up. It's still, on your live or whatever. It fucked me up just to jump out there and hear my dad say that. I'm like, damn, my little niece been indoctrinated. My little niece saw her dad dead under the house with her grandmother. Got called. He was dead. He got hit up with a cake across the river on the East Bank of New Orleans. Before he died, he was in the streets. This nigga give me a Father's Day card. I'm uncle, bro. Me and my wife got 5 kids, 5 boys. Trying to have a girl, tighten up with 5 boys.
right,
So I can only extend myself so much realistically. Niggas,
right,
that Father's Day card, bro, you really could have kept it. Because what you doing in them streets, dog, you should have been really looking out for my niece, dog. Now you out of here.
right,
You feel me? And I can't really be that. I can only be a damn good uncle, but I'm still uncle at the end of the day. You dig?
right, right. I
I'm
feel
going to
you.
sit back and catch the game, bro. I appreciate you, big dog. You hear me?
I appreciate you too, King. And
All
that
right,
that
fam.
goes back to the importance of what I was saying earlier. Not only do we need our own movies, we need our own cartoons. It's not far-fetched what I'm saying. We have to counter the agenda by giving them the option to choose between different glasses of water in which they can drink from. You know what I mean? The fact that the indoctrination is happening so fast is because when you go on Nickelodeon or when you go on Disney and these other places, there's no balance. They're pushing it. They're sticking straight to one agenda, and they're shifting more by the day into a place where gender fluidity and all of these other things are right there in front of their faces and whatnot. So they don't see a problem because they don't see the difference. They don't see something. They don't see a melanated couple and the celebration of a black man or a young black man and a young black woman, in love and stuff like that. They're not privy to that. They're not privy to that.
Yeah, bro.
But I
It's
appreciate you,
a cold
King.
game.
You know what I'm
I
talking about?
appreciate you, a GP. All right, family.
All right, peace. All right, our next caller. Peace, peace. Ashan Salam. Peace, bro.
Peace, peace, peace.
What's good with you?
In regards, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm calling from the Ohio territory.
Okay, shout out to
Um,
Ohio.
in regards to the drilling and some of the things with the youth, I can highlight 3 things. One, I think we need to find a way in some form or fashion to control our media.
Right.
if we can take a hold and can take back our media and what's being pushed to our people at a young age, then therefore it could be effective. Secondly, this is a bit controversial, but I feel like the nurturing aspect of our queens has kind of been lost. I remember, if not anybody was able to reach me or to touch me, especially to my heart chakra, in a
Right.
way. Out here in this wilderness, it was a queen. It was the voice of a woman.
Right.
It was the voice of a mother. It was the voice of a grandmother. And I feel like, as we talk about the gender um, changing and things of that nature in these times, I feel like a lot of our sisters is really like masculine to the degree where they can't touch us because, and in turn, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to be looked at as being soft, or so therefore it just goes nowhere. You know what I'm saying? We get
Right.
nowhere from that. So that's the second thing. I think more of our women, like one of the sisters I talk about, Dr. Frances Cress Wellesley.
Yes.
Um,
Legend.
I don't know any other conscious women on a main scale, maybe like you or Blue or any of the other brothers when I tap in, Brother Rich or anybody that's really there to really tell the sisters like it's okay to be yourself and in your right and natural state. Like that's okay. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't see that. Now I may be, you know what I'm saying, I stand corrected, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really see that in that aspect. And the third thing is art, man. I think we should get back to art. I think we should get
Hey,
back to
wait.
painting. I think we should, I think we should get back to the things that allow us to tap into our, you know what I'm saying, our divine feminine that's within ourselves as men out here to balance out um, the masculine and feminine dynamic that could cause us to not be receptive to
Right.
a new world that we can envision.
I feel you. I'm in alignment with everything that you said. The first thing that you touched on was the media, right? Um, I feel in this war that we're in right now, it's a war on higher principalities. It's a spiritual war, but we also are in an intellectual war of ideas and concepts. Henceforth, why people are like, oh, the children is saying this, and I brought up the word agenda. That deals with ideas and concepts, right? The European and his multi-billion-dollar industry, big pharma, big beef, you know, big rainbow, and all of these other things, they have an agenda that they're pushing, but that agenda is dealing with changing the lexicon. That agenda is ideas and concepts. It's good to be Roman, my niggas. That's what it breaks down to. We want to be in Rome and be Romans. That's what they're pushing on our people, to be as Roman as possible. And
Yes.
we have to counter that because niggas is in Rome and they're like, yo, when in Rome, do as Rome does. Nobody wants to shake the room. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
buck the system. Nobody wants to go against the motherfucking matrix because that's not the easiest thing to do. They want to be the cipher in the movie The Matrix. They just want to eat the steak, right? That's translated to ignorance is bliss. That's translated as to turn the camera on. Let me twerk for you. Turn the camera on. Let me go and drill this nigga and let me get on Instagram and show the chain that I just snatched. Turn the camera on. Word has it that black ignorance is $1 billion industry. I'm just trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? I
Indeed.
can sell a piece of myself for a few dollars. For some designer, I'll sell 3/5 of myself. Why not? And
Mm.
these niggas think that they could buy it back. I want to buy back my masters. How, Sway?
Sold
How?
off.
When they bought your
Hmm.
masters and they bought your likeness, it wasn't just a regular buying, my nigga. That's when they was putting you in a jar. That's when they was telling you what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. That's when they was telling you what to wear. Here, wear this dress. Here, wear these type of jeans. Here, call her a bitch. Yeah, we need more of that.
Hmm.
You know, how
Hmm.
you niggas think you're gonna buy your masters back? You know what I mean? You sold a
Make it
part of
rain.
yourself for this fake illusion. These carrots that they dangled carrots. They dangling carrots in front of these niggas and it's lab diamonds. They think that they dangling real diamonds. The carrot that these niggas is dangling is lab grown diamonds. That's why they scared of the tester. So you're not even getting a real fucking carrots. So they're dangling a super illusion. They're dangling that piece of steak that they dangled for Cypher that allowed Agent Smith to quote unquote get into Zion and destroy the whole goddamn operation. So media is like the Rock of Gibraltar. We look at what Tyler Perry is doing. He's writing the same fucking song. He's writing the same show and the same narrative in every single show that he got on BET. This nigga he's relentless at this point. I mean, it's the finest of the Chitlin circuit has to offer. That's what Tyler Perry is pushing on BET now. Lee Daniels is on Fox doing what he's doing. Lena Wythe is on Showtime or whatever she's doing with The Shy and all of that trauma porn that she's creating. There's a whole lineup of these niggas right now. Yes. So they've attacked this through media. Media is rocking our women to sleep. Like you were saying, they taking them out of their quote unquote natural state and putting them into this whole nother state. I was watching something on TV the other day from Vice News, and they were highlighting the rise of what was known as trash talk TV. What's trash talk TV? They was highlighting Jerry Springer. People don't know the impact of what daytime television created. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. They were saying that when Jerry Springer came out, he was trying to be like Phil Donahue. Phil Donahue was the top nigga at that time. If anybody remembers Phil Donahue used to have Frances Cress Welsing, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, pardon me. He used to have Khalid Muhammad, right? And the greats on his show debating, right?
Yes.
It wasn't fluff. The Donahue show wasn't, oh, I slept with 80 men and I don't know who my baby father is. The Donahue was not Maury. The Donahue show was high level conversations that was taking place. Then they highlighted that something happened on a Geraldo Rivera show, right? With a man who I was told by my grandfather that our family has relations to, and that's Roy Ennis from the group called CORE. He had a fight with white supremacists with some KKK members, and they hit Geraldo in the face with a chair, right? So they said, based off of the fight, that it was a notorious fight that took place on the Geraldo Rivera show. They was like, as a result of the fight, Geraldo's ratings went through the roof, right? When the network saw that the Geraldo shit went through the roof based off of a fight, they was like, fuck that. This is how we get more viewership, because remember, daytime talk show was competing against the soap operas and the stories and whatnot, and it wasn't lit like that. Jerry Springer got a new producer. I wrote his name down. I don't have it in front of me, but when you look at him, you can see that he's one of those he has a lot of pedo energy to him. He has a lot of white supremacist energy to him. This was the writer, this was the producer, and it's usually, when you see a performer, they're not the brains behind the situation. It's the producer and the writers. So he came and he said, forget about trying to chase Donahue. We're going to go completely to the opposite. Remember, this is Chicago we're talking about. Oprah Winfrey, Sally Jesse Raphael, and Jerry Springer. All of them was in Chicago. Live audiences, right? Oprah, she started out kind of suspect. Right? She had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But there was a situation with the Sally Jesse Raphael show. No, Jenny Jones. I'm sorry. Jenny Jones. Right? It was Jenny Jones. And Jenny Jones, she had MILF energy back in the days. Jenny Jones had a show where she brought on a white boy who was LBGT, and she brought a young white man on, and he thought that a girl was trying to get with him, and it turned out to be that the dude was trying to get with him, and he kind of like exposed them on the stage. He and this was back then when that wasn't too common. So homie went and killed him. right? He bodied him. He like after the show, a day or two later, the boy who got embarrassed, he went to the other boy's house and he murked him. So that caused a big situation because Jenny Jones had got sued, and all of the talk shows that was the pivot point. Oprah Winfrey went completely more corporate. She started interviewing people about success stories. She basically got off the bullshit. The show that stayed where they were at and even turned it up more was your boy Jerry Springer, who was a failed politician. First of all, he was a failed politician and a newscaster. He's a politician, a politrician. He knew what he was doing. Okay, he didn't come out of anywhere. He was a politician who had a sex scandal, and he basically, lost his, he fell off and everything. Then he was in TV or media, and then he became the face of trash talk TV. Now, I'm bringing that all up to bring this out. I remember, my mind is not that gone. I remember a day and time where people doing the shit that they're doing right now, like on World Star, people being proud of being degenerates, people being, like wearing that shit with pride, like, yo, I'm a piece of shit. I'm fathering 20 children and I'm not taking care of none of them. Nobody could make me do it. Like
Crazy,
all that came
crazy low vibrational.
Right. The low vibration.
Extremely,
They opened up the Pandora's box with Maury Povich, but it was Jerry Springer especially. Now, this is what before Jerry was Robert Downey. You damn right about that. Now, this is what I will share, that for the impressionable mind, because remember, this comes out during the crack era. This comes out during the era of the latchkey. This is not the latchkey kid era. This was the crack era, right? This was when mamas was going through what they was going through. Households was upside down. Children were being raised, particularly by the news. I mean, by the TV and whatnot. They was sat in front of the TV, and the TV was raising up these babies and whatnot, right? So think about it. I know that Jerry Springer was a bunch of bullshit. I knew that it was false because I had common sense. What do you tell to a 3-year-old? What do you tell to a 4-year-old? What do you tell to a 5-year-old who was looking at men in high heels in full drag and whatnot, having fist fights, wigs flying off, you know what I mean? Bussy all in the air and whatnot. What do you tell the young girl who was watching the Maury Povich show where she was looking for a baby daddy and it was 20 people, but the young girl don't remember, she doesn't know if it's staged or not. She don't know if it's false or not. A lot of people was looking at these shows and they were taking it for reality. And that was one of the main shows where I saw art. I saw life imitate art, not the other way around. The world, niggas wasn't really carrying on like that in real life. That was all, a lot of that was just fake scripted. And they made it normalized. And by normalizing it through the media, what began to happen? I began to see that shit come to life in real life around me. I'm like, yo, shorty looked like she straight off for Maury. She got the whole washed up look. Like you wasn't, that look where you can't differentiate if she's a street worker or a sister who's just living a regular life. That became the normal outfit in society. What our women's was just coming outside. I'm like, y'all dressing like y'all on Jerry Springer.
Transform the mind. Transform the mental.
Did some. Yes, I was watching all of these shows. I was watching Maury. I was watching Jerry. I was watching Richard Bay. I was watching Robert Downey. I love me some Ricky Lake. She used to have the boosters on and stuff like that. I was into all of those things. I didn't watch Oprah like that, but I was watching all of that ratchet shit. And that is something like we've been so desensitized and we've been so removed from what was considered normalcy that we forget about the programming, because we got programming on top of programming on top of programming, because there was a whole era of world star hip hop programming niggas. There was an era of watching bum fights. Like there was an era of watching snuff films. You're not supposed to certain things that we're not supposed to be seeing like that. Because there's some shit that you can't unsee. And the effects of that is having neurological effects on the mental health of people who are not mentally all together to begin with. So
Yeah.
imagine being on opiates, imagine being on Prozac, imagine being on, all of these medicines that a lot of these Karens and Beckys, white America, and some of our grandparents with these fucking cocktails and parents and whatnot, where they putting them on all of these psychotropics and whatnot, and then they put them in front of Maury Springer, and I mean Jerry Springer and Maury Povich and Roseanne Barr, and all of that debauchery. It started with like Ralph Love and Married with Children, then Roseanne Barr, then the Shameless on cable. Like you could see the downward spiral of the programming, and nothing good is going to come out of that.
Nope. It's low vibrational. It's very uncivilized programming, and it's ratchet,
Right.
disgusting.
Right. Somebody said the beginnings of Ratchet. Yes, the initial beginnings of Ratchet. That's why you have the white people, they love Ratchet. You got the black kids, they love Ratchet. You got people of all nationalities, they love it like it's fast food. They've been programmed too. They initially got their cherry popped by watching the debauchery as well. They were able to basically garner what they felt was a picture of who the fuck we were. You know what I mean? On top of watching slave movies, slave porn, and then watching these shows, people begin to say, oh, I know who these niggas are. But prior to that, the image that we had on the Cosby shows or the image that we had on A Different World, all of that was countered.
Yeah.
So we got to
Complete
control
opposite.
media. We got to take it back. And then, of course, reality shows come after that. Flavor of Love, I Love New York, and all of that. Bruh, we could get into that later. But I could give people the breadcrumbs. I could show them the paper trail. I could show you where the bodies are buried that put our people in the position that we're in today. This shit did not come from out of anywhere. So in order to you have to be able to, in order to reverse engineer something, you have to be studious enough to figure out where did this shit go left. And it's sometimes it's the most subtlest of things. You wouldn't think that Jerry Springer was a catalyst. But I guarantee you, I tell everybody, go and watch it. It's on Vice News. I believe it's free on the internet. I think I watched it on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm saying. You'll see what I saw. But you were on point, King, with all of the things that you pointed out. We got to get back to the art. The reason why a lot of our people are romanticize Kemet and we're infatuated with the Middle East and other places is because of that sacred art that they left behind. You know what I mean? Like we have to adorn, we got to put our people in some sacred art. You know what I mean? Like we got to bring that shit back. Modernize.
And they even keep and I even feel like it's storming a little bit where I'm at. I'm gonna cut it short, but I even feel like, that's some of the reason why they hold some of the ancient Americas away from us, and some of the structures and things of that nature that were built and left for us to actually see, so that we can't identify with that energy and think of it as our own.
They don't want you seeing yourself in the art. The art is consecrated. A lot of the art is still, it has spirit. It's still spiritually consecrated. It will wake your DNA up, or your DNA will wake it up. There's a connection that takes place when you stand in front of megalithic, monolithic structures that remind you of you. They do not. Remember, they did it. They put a lot of energy behind defacing them. They put a lot of energy behind destroying them. Both of the world wars, they targeted all of these, not all of them, but they targeted a majority of these ancient places, monuments, structures, cities, and things of that nature, architecture. Tanks were rolling over them. They were having those, remember, what's his name? Hitler had those bombing campaigns where they was flying over areas, just dropping bombs relentlessly for months. Napoleon was one of the first ones that carried out the destruction campaigns. And then fast forward all the way up to ISIS. And now with the Taliban taking power in Afghanistan, they're going to continue those campaigns because those Arabs and whatnot, those Mamelukes, and a lot of those people that came out of the Ottoman Empire, they don't have no they don't care, they not caretakers to our shit. They don't want us to know the truth either. So
Right,
we live in
right.
a day and age of 3D printers. We live in a day and age of tablets. We live in a day and age of digital art. We live in a day and age of multiple programs from Blender to Cinema 4D to Adobe to Procreate. There's all of these programs. We could get the resources. We could open up centers, bring the babies in, let them create art. When I make it back to Atlanta, that's one of the goals of mine is to start a weekly series. I don't know if I'm gonna do sip and paint. You know what I mean? I might do strip and paint. I'm just playing. But you know, we're gonna do something where we're gonna bring the family together, children and adults, where we're gonna create art. Okay, one day out of the week, maybe 2 days out of the week, we're gonna have the resources. We'll either do it on a tablet, we'll do it through a canvas, but we will be creating art, and I'm gonna show the people that these children that we've been neglecting so long, they've had it inside of them. They just needed an outlet. Oh, they really needed an outlet. Build it and they will come. Like these children really need an outlet. And I really want to see what they got because I could look at them and tell that they got billions of dollars of intellectual property just hiding inside of their minds. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Real talk.
yes. Indeed. Indeed. That's peace, man. That's peace. I appreciate you having me on, man. I respect
No,
you, man, and I listen to you every time I can. So
appreciate
you
you, King.
know, you definitely have got me through a lot of tough times, brother. And I
Oh man, what happened? Storm must have kicked up, you know. But as much as I got you through thick times, you've got me through thick times. You know, this is a reciprocal type of thing. You know, Ross, brother Ross, are you there? I know your mic is muted. You have to unmute it in order to be heard. You know. All right. I don't know if Ross wants to be heard, but yeah, that's gonna be it for the callers for right now. You know, we're going up into 4 hours, so you know. No, yeah. We'll come back and we'll do this again. We'll come back and we'll do this again. But yeah, I definitely want to do the live painting, drawing, sculpturing. You know, I want to do that. That I need to do that for myself because as an artist, I've been kind of repressed. You know what I mean? I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's to create. I haven't been creating enough art, you know, to leave behind for my children. You know what I mean? So I got work to do. But we shall return. It's Thursday. We come back on Monday. If me and Blue Pill decide to do a show before that, you'll get the notification. So make sure you either subscribe or you hit that bell and whatnot. I might be doing like a morning show where we bring people on and we connect. How do you connect next time? That's the link. I'll be dropping a link in the chat room. When you see the link, just click on it. It'll be a live link. It will bring you into the back office and the back studio. And from then I'll bring you up onto the floor, onto the main stage. You know what I mean? Onto the dance floor. Feel me? So yeah, this definitely was fire. I agree. This was fire. All right. We're gonna try to come on early more. All right. I need to head to the gym now and go work some of my frustrations off. But yeah, that part. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay dangerous. Y'all stay focused. You know what I mean? And first and foremost, you know, just stay true to yourselves. You know, stay true to yourselves. Real talk. All right. Get it. I'm gonna leave y'all with a song. Where's my phone? There we go. Peace and love. Yes. Sister Candy Rain. We'll bring you back on. A lot of people loved your artwork. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that your mic was muted. I didn't know if you knew it or not. But yeah, you know, but your artwork was talking. It was talking. It was talking. You know? It was definitely talking. It was able to have conversations when you didn't. So, you know, for everybody that's out there, y'all want to shop with her, that's her IG handle. Hit her up. Show love. Smell me. All right. And yeah, on that note. And also, yeah, don't forget the lecture that we got coming up, Fear of a BlackaMoor Messiah at the end of the month. And also the one with me and Blue Pill. The evolution will be digitized and the emancipation ain't freedom. All right, I'm gonna have to do a new flyer for that. Gotta revamp that shit right there. But yeah, those are gonna be lit. That's coming up at the end of the month. You smell me? But yeah, all right. With that being said, let's see what we're gonna end this with. Ten Summers. Yeah, 10 Summers. Peace.
Haters paying no attention. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters.
Go get that album. Go get that album.
Them haters paying no attention. We never gonna stop winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. You know we got it out the mud. You know we keep our pockets stuffed. They don't wanna see us winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters.
We used to hit the gym and train together. We used to spit the gems on the train together. Early 90s, reign of terror. From the era of the pain and pleasure. The chain and leathers. Gotham City, Bruce Wayne vendettas. Southern California, it never rained forever. Now we change the weather. Sitting first class on them planes forever. Taking pleasure in the same endeavors. We make it rain forever. Wearing chains out the treasure found in ancient deserts. Kings County very own, though we ain't no peasants. Nah.
You know we got it out the mud. You know we keep our pockets stuffed. They don't wanna see us winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 wins.
I monetize my thoughts. I seen too many traumatized in court. Where homicides were fought. They benching the ballers who personified the sport. The henchmen the taller, like the samurais were taught. 32 degrees in the Jubilees. Neck cold cause the jewelry freeze. 32 degrees. You can feel it in the air, yeah, it's through the breeze. Like it's nudity. We are not the same. Separation 32 degrees. To the day.
Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. Haters paying no attention. We never gonna stop winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. You know we got it out the mud. You know we keep our pockets stuffed. They don't wanna see us winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters.
I live in the now. You live in the no. I live in the sun. You live in the snow. My bitches is poison, Belle, Viv, and DeVoe. They snatching them souls, attached to the pole, adapt to the cold or capture a cold. The valley of death where the masses have fell, where the ratchets are blow. They casting them spells. Bitch, you could bask in the smell. I'm for with the casters to dwell. I'm for with the baskets can tell where you casting the spell. So you blink your emotions, we mastered it well.
Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. Haters paying no attention. We never gonna stop winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. You know we got it out the mud. You know we keep our pockets stuffed. They don't wanna see us winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters. Them haters paying no attention. We never gonna stop winning. Hustle 10 summers, 10 winters.